Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to Know Your Gear QA number 204. I always feel weird now. It's like 204. It's so many episodes. So lots of you already joined. 300 plus of you already here. Thank you for so much for that. If you're new to the show and you're wanting to talk to me or get something to my attention, please start with a question mark first. That way I know you're not talking to each other. Obviously, if you're watching the rebroadcast, I'll timestamp everything for you. So if you want to go to any particular subjects, you can. And if you're listening to this as a podcast on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, you name it, thank you for joining. is I guess what I'm going to say. Thank you for joining. Before we get started, we have a bit of business to get out of the way. I feel really bad if I don't mention this, and this is the 26th, so I believe this is the last podcast that we'll have. Let me check yep, it's next Friday will be the 2nd of April. The Know Your Tone collaboration shirt with me and the Tone King, the Know Your Tone shirts, merch and stuff. We decided we'd do this till the end of the month, the 31st. So it'll end mid next week. I'm just reminding you guys one last time. I just feel bad if I don't remind everyone, especially since, just to point out, we did this 3 years ago and we said we would do it, a year later, and we forgot. We waited 3 years. I don't know if we'll wait 3 years again to do this, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. So I just wanted to mention that and let you guys know. All right. Now let's get started to the business, which is the questions and the subjects you guys want to talk about. And I already have some pinned questions from some people who came early, left some super chats early, left some comments early. Of course, we try to hit the first question of the day. The first question was from Jeff Harper, who said, Phil, how good are lower priced lag guitars? I like lag guitars. When I was a dealer, I had lag guitars as a brand, and I always liked them. In fact, I have a video on my Phil McKnight 2 channel, a video talking about my buddy Skip and how I bought him a lag guitar and set it up. And that one was a very inexpensive guitar. I think that guitar was like $199, $299. So I've always liked the lag guitars. That being said, they're also a brand of guitars, especially in those price points, where there's a ton of brands that are that good. That's the problem with a lot of guitars, acoustic and electric, between the price point of, let's say, $200 to $500. And that's just such a weird, narrow price point to talk about, but it is a price point that seems like I can tell you, if somebody asks me, like your question, Jeff, you're like, is lag good at $200 to, let's say, $500? Yes. So is Washburn. So is Fender. I mean, there's a lot of brands because they're essentially contracting them from the same factories to get the same kind of quality and putting their spin on it. Lag guitars, the cool thing about lag guitars, if you don't know, is I don't know why I'm showing you my arm right here. Hey, look at my arm. It's rounded corners. They round the sides off. They feel great for that reason. It's really nice. And it's not like some of the Washburns and the Taylors where they put like an arm carve on the guitar. That's not what I'm talking about. They just round the corners over and it looks beautiful, but it feels really nice. Just a really nice kind of extra step of quality there. So yeah, are they good? Yeah, the ones I've experienced, sure. Yeah, I'd recommend them. How about that? Bob did a not a super chat, but he sent me a question during the week, and I wanted to address it because it was an interesting question. He said, hey, he's a lefty, and that's what I know. Sometimes the lefties have a lot of questions, and we don't get to the lefties. So, but his question really hit home, and here's what it was. He says, hey, I'm a left-handed guitarist, which means there's limited color choices, and he has a hankering for a candy apple red Telecaster. I know I need to refinish it myself. He says, so could I buy a used Fender American-made Tele, a used Fender Mexican-made Tele, or build a kit part caster, like a Telecaster out of parts? And he basically said, I know people rarely never get their money back when they do a kit build. Will refinishing a used Fender Telecaster crash any value? I'm trying to ponder whether I really want Fender on my headstock. How much does it matter? Here's a good idea. So this is why I want to talk about this. There is an option. There's an option that he's not considering, and I wanted to talk about that. And it's something in between the Fender buying the Fender and buying the kit. And that is, you can buy, what's great about a left-handed player is it's the body that's the problem. You know what I mean? Sure, if you buy a right-handed neck and you put it on a left-handed guitar, the dots are not going to be facing the right way, the side dots. But you have to think to yourself, do you really use the side dots? Some players do need them. Some players, not so much. So that being said, you can buy a Fender aftermarket neck left-handed. You can buy it right-handed and just put it on a left-handed guitar. It won't matter. You'll have a reverse headstock. That's kind of cool. You can buy a made in Mexico or Fender Telecaster and cannibalize it instead of refinish it. And here's what I would suggest. One of those two options. Buy your made in America or made in Mexico Fender. It's up to you. Either buy the neck from Fender, right? Or go to stratosphere.com and buy a aftermarket neck. In other words, where they've cannibalized the guitar themselves. Buy that neck. You get the Fender logo. You get the Fender feel. You'll have the neck you want. Now go to Warmoth and buy a candy apple red left-handed telly body. That's what I would do. Go to Warmoth. Now, here's why I suggest this. The resale value won't matter. Here's why. If you were able to sell it, sure, you can try and sell it as a complete package with your bridge, your pickups, your body, and your neck. See what the market will give you. But you could also then, of course, cannibalize it back down to parts again. You'll get pretty much what you paid on the neck, especially even, it's weird, necks really do not devalue too much in the resale market. The body you'll take a hit on, but again, you'll recoup some costs if that's something you want to do. That's what I would suggest you do. Go that route. You'll get premium guitars. You can do it all Warmoth if you want, but I understand the need. You have to understand, there are so many guitars on the market, famous guitars that say Fender, that say Charvel, that say Jackson, that say Hamer, that say all kinds of brands, and they're Warmoth bodies with those necks. It's very common. Kramer, we already, Dave the Snake Sabo was on the channel, and he even said the original guitar, the Kramer that he played, was a Warmoth body. I think it was a Chandler neck and a Warmoth body, or maybe it was a Chandler body and a Warmoth neck, and then later they put the Kramer neck on it. You could be just like a rock star. You can literally get your Fender neck and stick it on a good Warmoth body. Here's why I'm saying Warmoth too, by the way. That's not a kit build to me. Okay, if you buy a Warmoth body and you buy a Warmoth neck, or you buy a Warmoth body and a Fender neck, and you put it together, that's not really a hard afternoon. You know, they're going to go together really nicely. It's very easy. You can send your bridge if you have limited skill set. You can send your bridge, whatever bridge you're going to use. You can send that to Warmoth, and they'll actually put it on the body for you. They'll send it to, I think, with the bridge back off the body, and you have to install it, but they'll drill all your holes and do that stuff. I think you can even buy the bridge from them, and if you buy the bridge from them, they'll, of course, do all the mounting stuff on a telly, and it'll be all set to go. Like I said, it'll come together in an afternoon. A Telecaster build, I've done a few, obviously. And so, you know, I've talked, Crimson Guitars is another great company to get bodies from, but, you know, I'm assuming you're in the States and it's easy that way. But either way, go with a high-end company like those companies, get that body, get it painted the way you wanted, put the Fender neck on it, put your components in it, pick your pickups. Great. And of course, you can always just buy a Fender made in Mexico Strat or Telly and then cannibalize it. And then same thing. And like I said, put it all back together when you're done. That's what I suggest to Bob. So that's a thought. I want to say I'm sorry, buddy. Koang Ho says, loving the second channel, by the way. Thank you. Thank you. The second channel, if you guys notice, it gets lots of videos. It's because it's getting lots of the less performing videos over time. And that's where I'm going to start doing more of that stuff. And you'll see that start edging up really quickly, especially with some changes coming. If you notice, as that channel has been ramping up with videos, you notice this channel's not had as many videos as late. And it's because I'm firming up the plan of this channel you're watching here, which is every Friday, we're going to do the podcast. That's, you know, every Friday, come rain or shine, we're here. Every Sunday, it's the pickup videos. We're doing videos about pickups. And then every Wednesday, it will be the review video. And then they'll be spattered in the Sharp My Axe and repair videos and stuff like that. But it's all, what I'm doing is creating 3 shows on the channel. You get it, so you know what days and what times to come. The Sunday time thing has to firm up like the Friday show. And then as that gets secured, I'll keep adding it in. Just reading some comments. Okay. Sometimes, like I said, it gets sidetracked. Okay, I want to get back to work. Okay, let me get back focused. All right, pinned questions that came early. This one was great. This is another left-handed question I want to answer. It was from Jose. Jose says, "Hey Phil, as a lefty, will I be purchasing any left-handed guitars for Sharpen My Axe episodes and updates?" No, I don't have any plan to do that, Jose. I've maybe talked about this briefly in the past. When I set up guitars that are left-handed guitars, I've learned to play like I'm not making this up. This America Horse with No Name. You can play that upside down. Like literally, I don't take a left-handed guitar and hold it like left-handed and try to play it. I take a left-handed guitar and flip it upside down and play it upside down when I set up somebody's left-handed guitar. So I play some scales and I play some songs that I can play upside down. And but based on that very basic thing, that would be a very not exciting video to do. So there's just no way for me to do that. So on that, if you have an idea, a suggestion on how I could spice that up, maybe do a left-handed version, I would willing to do that. Okay. Randall's question is, "Hey Phil, I have I think it's Italia. Yep, it's Italia Trev Wilkinson Supro Style 2 Jack Piezo Carino wood with fiberglass finish. They look old. They look like old off brands of the 60s, and they are pricey." Yep. Have you ever looked at that brand at all? I've played maybe one or two. I've talked to Trev Wilkinson, and he explained to me he designed the Italia guitars and, of course, the new Supro guitars, and that's why they're reminiscent of each other. They're cool. I mean, it's cool stuff. I just never played it. I mean, if anything other than maybe those guitars, I've only picked up at the NAMM show, or maybe once, maybe Supro and the Guitar Center picked it up. There was a one pickup version. I don't know what it was. Supro guitar I picked up at the Guitar Center once that they were blowing out. And I had that inkling to buy it, and I just couldn't finish pulling that trigger. And I didn't do it. But, you know, it's kind of like a fish that got away kind of story now. What else do we have? We have... Jane says, "Officially halfway done binging the podcast." And so I just wanted to, I highlighted that one because it was an early comment. And also, thank you so much for that. The podcast has been growing at an epic pace, surpassing and passing the YouTube and stuff. So it's really cool. So I appreciate hanging out on the YouTube channel, and I appreciate the podcast. For those of you that watch the YouTube channel, the suggestion was given to me, and I'm going to work on this, which is there a way that I could mark the podcasts that are on iTunes and that are not on YouTube? Because like I said, there are podcasts that I do, even like this, it's a live Q&A. That I do the live Q&A privately with maybe patrons or other people, and then put them on podcast. So basically, yeah, I'm going to working on that. So that way you guys can at least see that. Okay, Matchless's question was, "Hey Phil, your thoughts, my thoughts about bare knuckle pickups. From what I hear on YouTube, I really love the sound of them, Warpig, especially. But after taxes and import fees, they're like $500. I'm gonna say dollars for the set." I reached out when I first did the pickup, the series that I was working on. They were one of the first companies. Probably Seymour Duncan was first, and then they were second. And Seymour Duncan gave me a no, and then they gave me a no that they weren't interested in reviews. So I have known Seymour Duncan, though. Of course, I have 27 videos about Seymour Duncan pickups because I bought them. I have no pickups about bare knuckle. Because although I bought a few sets, I think I have like 3 or 4 sets of their pickups. I just never done any videos. So maybe that's something I can look into doing and make sure it's on the pickup series. But there's no reason. If a company doesn't send me product for one of these videos, it doesn't mean they don't get on the channel. It just means that they now get less videos because I have to buy them. Same thing with Fishman, all those stuff. If a company doesn't send out product, I just buy the product and we put it on the channel, and then I sell it off later. The only downfall I'm learning about that, the benefit to these companies to really sending the product to the channel is that when I buy the product and review it, what I'm learning, especially with the pickups is, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, a lot of the pickups that you see in these videos where I bought them and do the pickup video, as soon as the video's over, I sell them on Reverb. I sell that stuff off so I can take that money and put it into the next thing I can buy for the series. And then when you guys have have follow-up questions like, hey, it would be really cool if you took those Fishmans and put them against these blah, blah, blahs. I can't, because I'd have to buy them again. And I can't sit on them because, again, I'm trying to churn them for those videos. The pickup series has been, in my opinion, highly successful as a series, especially compared to pickup videos out on the YouTube arena. If I go out and look at pickup videos, these videos, which are technically considered lower performing videos for my channel, are producing really good numbers as a whole compared to other videos out there. I'm really proud of that. But keep in mind, the pickup video series, which I've obligated myself to, and I like doing it, and I think you guys are liking it too, it literally is netting me $35 per video when we looked at the analytics. So it's a labor of love is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes I make videos because it's a good net profit thing to do. I make some cash. It's cool for the channel. It's, it makes funding stuff like this really good. And then sometimes it's just a labor of love. The pickup series is definitely labor of love. So let's see. All right, it's okay. All right. Sorry, I was just reading a comment and I couldn't understand what they were saying. That's sometimes the problem. I just want to see B-Side Studio says, Phil, I would love to see a side-by-side guitar fetish pickups comparison indirect swap battle. So that's a great suggestion, and it's definitely going to happen. The end result of the pickup video series, it's just a strategic thing. And again, that's the downfall of having this live interaction with you guys, because I'm talking about things I'm doing with the videos and I'm telling you strategies, and then that, that's great, but it doesn't help you. So basically what I'm trying to say is, yes, I know click-wise, view-wise, I know what pickup videos are going to get the best views. And believe it or not, we're building the catalog. It's strategic. I'm building a catalog of pickup videos every Sunday. And once the pickup catalog is pretty deep in the playlist, then I have these, I think you're going to be really interested in seeing that. Like, let's take the cheapest pickup and compare it to the most expensive and do stuff like that. Those videos are planned, and some of them are already shot, but those will come because those will cash in on those 100, 200,000 views potentially, right? Maybe they're 50,000 views, but whatever they'll be more than what we're getting on the traditional, basic videos of just these pickups videos. And then what happens, I don't know if you understand how the YouTube arena works. What's great for the channel is that when I cash in on those views, what those viewers will do is then after they enjoy that video, they'll be more open to go, wow, I wish I could watch another video like that. And then they'll see the playlist, and we see it all the time. A lot of videos on my channel are like that. If you look back, and I'll get off this subject, but if you look back at my channel, you'll see a lot of videos where you probably remember I got like 50 or 60,000 views. Look back now and you see there are 400,000 views, and you're like, wow. And it's because that's how we built the platform on this channel. I really focused the idea around, let's build series of videos, the Sharp Max series videos. There's 20 something videos. I know a lot of people always complain there's not enough Sharp and Max videos, but on a daily basis, when I look at analytics, you gotta understand, I see hundreds of people, if not thousands of people every day binge watching the entire Sharp Max series, which is 20 something videos. Doesn't sound like a lot of videos, but I mean, somebody sat there for like 2 hours, the length of a movie, watching me do those videos. And so same thing with these podcasts, you binge watch them out. So that's the plan, but a great suggestion. And like I said, kind of going down that road a little bit myself now too. Billy, it's the most common question you get on a gear channel. How many guitars do you need for life? None. That's the official answer. Everybody always says it's one more or it's, 10. It's none. You don't need a guitar. You need none. You need no guitars. It's a luxury item. So 1 is a luxury, 2 is more luxury. Depends on how much luxury you want to have. You can lavish yourself in luxury, or you can just have a little. It's whatever. I think you should have as many guitars as you can financially afford and tolerate and want. How about that? So don't put yourself in hock. Brian says, will we see the DiMarzio Fortitude pickup review? Yes. Yeah, that's great. I don't know if you're asking that just out of the blue, or if maybe I mentioned something secretly and I didn't realize I said it and I don't remember saying it. That's a great question, Brian. Thank you. The Fortitude is my favorite pickup. So that's what that video will be. Yes, it's not this Sunday. It was scheduled on my dry erase board, the DiMarzio Fortitude pickup review. And it is my favorite pickup, and explaining why. I have a bunch of them. I use them in the neck position, in the bridge position. It's probably the pickup I have the most in guitars. And I'll explain why. But it's not going to happen because there's another pickup review video coming this Sunday that I got an opportunity to do, and it's just too weird and too crazy not to do it. So it is now been pushed to the following week, and I think that's going to be the 5th of April or whatever that Sunday is. So Brian, look for that video. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Okay. Sometimes I think one day it would be nice. I should have a guest come on this show and they can talk the whole time and I'll just read your comments. Sometimes I find myself sidetracked more and more reading your interactions with each other. I get to watch them afterwards when the show's replay and I'm timestamping and stuff, but in real time, it's kind of exciting. Okay, let me get back to those questions. And again, I know I have super chats and all kinds of stuff, but I'm trying to get to the questions that were early and kind of reward those early birds. JJJ Music, 3J Music says, I'm going to call it 3J Music from now on. I don't know if you wanted it to be that way, but I like that name. 3J Music says, hey, Phil, I just ordered a IR pedal, okay, impulse response pedal. One of my amps I'm uncertain about is the Marshall SE20 head. Do I still have to have a cab hooked up? I'm running it through the DI out to IR. You'd have to look in your manual. I don't remember on that amp if it has the ability to hit it. So here's what happens on tube amps like that. They usually have a mode where you can put them in standby, okay, which all the tube amps have that. But some amps are designed so that you put in standby and the direct out still works. And if that's the case, then you would get away without putting a cabinet or a load on the amplifier. Either way, you still have to have something plugged in. That's just a smart thing to do. Don't unplug it. But a way to bypass that, you would have to look up on it exactly, but I don't remember if the amp had that feature or not. So, but my cautionary tale to you is just make sure that you, for sure, make sure that you keep a load on it. But I was going to tell you is the fastest way to not read the manual and test the theory is run the DI out into your IR pedal is what I'm trying to say. Hit the turn on the power and turn the standby off. So it's like, it's an idle mode basically. If you're getting sound, then you're good. Because as long as the amp's in standby, you're not going to hear the cabinet. And it doesn't matter if the cabinet's plugged in. You don't have to worry about unplugging it. Just put it in standby mode. So think about that. There might even be a button in the back of that amp, if I remember, that does something like that. But I don't know. That's just the idea. Okay. Sean Brooks, he said, Phil, I just received a custom 24 from Sweetwater. Thanks to Uncle Sam. Obviously, those stimulus checks were working. On a side note, I went to Guitar Center on Saturday with Ralph, and I seen this meme on the internet, and I swear you couldn't make this up. I walked in, and the first 3 things we saw were $13.99. And Ralph, I think, pointed it out, and we just kept laughing. Like we just kept laughing as we'd walk around the store. There was just coincidentally, it seemed like it was coincidence. I didn't look like it was staged, but man, it was just coincidentally. So many things were $13.99. We saw a Schecter for $13.99. The 65 Deluxe was $13.99. There was a Fender guitar that was $13.99. We're like, a lot of things at $13.99 all of a sudden. That was kind of funny to watch. So back to Sean and his stimulus check and helping the smooth this money around. He says he basically bought a PRS Custom 24, and he says it plays great, but he wants to unfloat it. In other words, okay, gotcha. He wants to either block it or put the bridge against the body. To put a set of 9s on it. Okay. Any tips on dealing with the knife edge screws? Yeah, every video I've ever had about those guitars, I've talked about those knife edge screws. The thing you want to do with those, this is what I would do, especially your first time doing this. Go ahead and take the strings off. Since you're going to switch gauges, it's going to be easy. Take the strings off, take the springs off, no tension on the guitar, and then go ahead and screw the screws down and set the bridge so it's against the body. Put the springs back on, make sure that they're all six, the blades are on all six rings of the screws, the edges, I should say, and then restring it up, and you should be fine. What's great about that is it's set up for 10s, and my guess is if you put the 9s on it, it could be set up for 10s. I'm guessing it's set up on 10s. I don't remember. I think I mentioned in the video what it was. But anyways, you shouldn't have to adjust the springs, tighten them too much to keep that bridge against the body, and then adjust your saddles up. You could do that, or you could block it from the back, and then you wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. So that's up to you. Yeah, choices is good, but I'm definitely up for blocking. Or you could also get one of those cool L bracket units that they sell on FU Tone and Amazon. It's basically a Tremolo block, L bracket looking thing. I buy them. They're cheap. I wish I had one here. They're down in the shop, but little things. I think they're like $20. You can screw that in the guitar in the back, and it's great. Okay. What else? Okay. All right. Let me get back. I think I got most of the early bird questions. If I missed a couple here and there. Yeah, I think I'm looking through right now. I kind of grabbed all the really interesting ones. Here's one. I want to say Cirrus Lee says, I got the blues so bad I don't even want to pick up the guitar. I thought this was great. I highlighted this one too because of the fact that this is a common thing that happens to musicians, the burnout. You just pick up and it's uninspired. And the two things I've learned to do with that, it's, the saying abstinence makes the abstinence is the best policy if you're a young child. Anyways, absence makes the heart grow fonder is the saying, and it's a valid saying. It's a very good saying when it comes to guitar. If you're uninspired to play guitar, don't force yourself through it. It will never work for me. So I don't think it's going to work for most of you. If I pick up the guitar and I just feel like it's dead and there's just nothing about it that's making me happy, and especially if you don't do anything with the guitar for a living, sometimes that's my biggest problem is, it's like, oh, it's great. I can just get away from this guitar for the next couple of days, but I have to have this content done, or I'm working on a guitar, I'm doing something. So if you have that ability, especially, definitely take that option just to get away from your guitar. Just go away from it. I find, for me, I'm going to say the magic number for me has been 3 days. If I'm burnt out on the guitar and I can get away from it, go and do other things. Don't do work. Do some other joy. Find another joy to do. Go for a bike ride. Go for, a walk. I don't know, watch a movie, go to Topgolf. I took my wife to Topgolf. That worked. Go do something else. I found for me, after about the third day of doing something else, I find that it's not that I'm like, oh, I should go, okay, it's been enough time, I can go back to guitar now. I feel all of a sudden like, I need something. And sometimes I do this with music. In other words, I take some time away from the guitar, but I listen to lots of music and I try to get inspired from that music and I find something cool. And sometimes I take a step away from the music too. But either way, absence makes the heart grow fonder is the saying, and I would definitely say that would work for guitar. I love it when a piece of advice I give you guys, maybe it sounds good, like Phil knows his stuff. That actually, I guess I'm name dropping, but that advice was given to me by George Lynch. George Lynch said, sometimes practicing is like painting yourself into the corner. You practice so much that everything is just uninspired. And he said what he does is, obviously in his case, I think he goes and works out. That's my guess. But he suggested that, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And then I put it into practice over many years, and I found it works perfect. Sean says, when you feel like you don't want to play, buy more stuff. I find, as great and funny as that is, and I think Sean's going more for the joke, and I know we all mean his joke, but I found that's actually the worst again. The worst. That's the way I used to try to handle it. You know, it's like, I don't feel like playing. In fact, think about this. I think that's where a lot of the biggest purchase mistakes you make happen that way. I'm playing the guitar. Let me create a scenario. It's 8 o'clock at night. I'm playing guitar and I'm just not feeling it. You know, nothing's really coming out. It's no music, no inspiration. I don't like the tone. I don't like the way it feels. I'm just burnt out. Something's wrong. And then I put the guitar down, and then next thing I know, I got the phone out or the tablet or the laptop or whatever, and I'm on reverb.com, and I'm like, you know what I need? Another guitar or a pedal or a thing like that, and I buy this thing. And what I found is, well, first of all, the biggest problem is whatever you just purchased, you can't have it right now, so it's not going to do anything for you. And the second thing is, when you get that purchase, I think you're in the wrong mindset, right? You're buying out of desperation to fill a hole. You know what I mean? Like, literally you're trying to go, okay, if I get this, that's my problem. If I just get the rosewood fretboard Strat, that's my problem tonight. I'm not feeling it because I'm playing the maple fretboard Strat. And if I had this other Strat, things would happen better. And every time I get that new product that I bought that way, man, it sucks. It just never fills. And then you get the guitar and you're like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. So I find getting away from it is cheaper, better. Sometimes cheaper is not even right either, because sometimes, like I said, you have to spend money doing something else. And I'm pretty on the record, consistent, telling you guys, I pretty much love this stuff so much I don't do a whole lot of anything else. If I do something else, which, you know, I do from time to time, it's literally for that reason. I'm burned out. Tony says retail therapy, and that's pretty much what we call that. But I think retail therapy, I think buying a new piece of gear is exciting when I'm excited about music and gear and playing guitar, because then it's like it's in the right mindset. I'm thinking, man, I should get an octave pedal and learn to play some cool stuff with an octave pedal, versus, oh, I hate the way this sounds, and if I just get a better piece of gear, it'll inspire me. I find that lands always flat, in my personal opinion. Yeah. Oh, great. This is a great answer. John ZD351 says, I usually buy stuff when I'm not looking for stuff. Exactly. I find that if I go online and I have it in my mind that I want to buy a new guitar, I can spend 10 hours over a period of week looking at stuff online, looking at tons of guitars, and I'll be like, there's just no good guitars out there. And then, like, same thing as what he's saying is, and then when I'm not looking for an instrument, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything I'm playing right now, and I like my rig. And then you find something new and it inspires you that way. That's usually a good way to do it. So, okay, so let's get to some questions. Okay, back to questions again. All right, we have Hose316. This is a super chat from last week. I did the cutoffs last week, and then I got a couple. First, I just want to say Tampa Blues and Michael Mitchell, they just did some super chats for no reason last week afterwards, and I appreciate that. Bob D. Carley did one. He said, have a drink. Happy Friday. Again, I just want to give shout outs because these people, obviously support the channel. But Haas316, Haas, like, hey, Haas316 says, in Arizona, we are always Mountain Standard Time states that do. He's talking about the daylight savings issue with the channel. And I agree. He's basically saying I could just tell everybody that I'm Mountain Standard Time all year because we're always Mountain Standard Time. It's the other states that go to Mountain Daylight Savings Time and stuff. The only problem, that's great, Haas, perfectly said. My only issue is that if you Google right now, Mountain Standard Time, like what time is MST right now, it'll pull up Mountain Daylight Savings Time. It's like, so it'll say Mountain Daylight Time or whatever. So I understand what you're saying, but it's a great suggestion, and you pretty much said what we're doing anyways. We're just saying Mountain Standard Time always on the channel, and then hoping it all figures itself out. Jonathan says, can the lag high vibe be used with a group of unmixed acoustics? Would it get lost or cover everyone else? So this question is, the high vibe guitar by Lag is the one I reviewed where it has it's like I want to say amp tweaker. It's not the amp tweaker. It's like the, doesn't matter. Why can't I think of the name of the other thing? The high vibe is the thing that basically makes the acoustic have reverb, delay, and of course a looper, and Tonewood amp. Yeah, the Tonewood amp also attaches to a backup acoustic, does the same thing. Lets you have reverb, echo, delays, and of course, but the Tonewood doesn't do looper. This does looper. So I've jammed with that guitar with a friend, and he had my Taylor, and they were on par, and I could hear it. I think the tone, the high vibe, I could hear the reverb and he could hear the reverb. So to answer your question, it's not louder than an acoustic, but the effects on it will hold their own if you're just jamming with people plugged in. Of course, if your question is to say, because you said unmixed, so I understand what you mean. But if you were to say like if they plug in acoustic amps, then no, yours wouldn't keep up. The high vibe would not keep up with a decent sized acoustic amp. But yeah, it would definitely you would hear the echo and effects if you were playing just acoustically with some acoustic players. And if they had amps and they turned theirs down, you'd be fine, but it's not going to be as loud as let's say a mid-level acoustic amp. Greg said, cheers, Phil. Been waiting all week. I've been waiting all week too. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. Mathis says, hey, Phil, greetings from Sweden. How close together can pickups be placed? I'd like to build a SHSS Strat. Single humbucker, single. He didn't say Strat. He said guitar. Single humbucker, single guitar with the single coil sized humbucker placed as close to the bridge as possible. Is there magnetic trouble? No. You're fine. They could just go... You could go. It's going to get a little wacky with the placement of those pickups because you might have some issues with the switch. With that many pickups, you kind of worry about some of the middle positioning switches giving you some weird phase tones, out of phase and in phase tones. That's the only thing I would think about. And again, I don't know if that would happen. I'm just giving you like suggestions of things you might have to deal with. But no, there's no issue with that. And the other thing that might happen is, when you put a ton of pickups like that in a guitar, your strings are obviously not going to ring as much as they would. That's a lot of magnetic power kind of inhibiting the strings. Some people think it's worse than it is. I don't think it's that big of a problem, depending on the magnets you're using, the type of pickups you're using, but something else to think about. But no, I don't know. You could put 10 pickups in there. Do them in a row. You can make a whole from the bridge to the neck, all pickups. It'd be fine. Guillermo says, hey, Phil, any recommendations on an inexpensive small tube amp like the Stage Right or Fender Junior, Blackstar, etc., and your opinion on the Dane? I don't know what that is. I don't know how you say it. You say Trophy X? I have no idea what this is. I know I've seen the pedal on their channel, and I'm pretty sure it's his pedal, right? Anyways, as always, have a beer on me. So my favorite in the amp market right now for that stuff, I like the Blackstar Studio 10. I did a video on that amp. It's not out on the main channel. Right now, it was just given to the patrons. There was an issue. I used a multi-camera angle. I used a new way. The audio sounds great. The problem is the video is jacked. I was learning the new camera switcher. I decided to do a video, as you sometimes do, and for some reason, the whole video was 720 and it's grainy as crap. So I have to reshoot the whole video, and it sucks because I think the video is good and it sounds good. I just think, obviously, I don't want to present that video to you guys because it looks like it was shot on an iPhone with some Vaseline on the lens. So in that video, I explain why I like that amp. And the reason it's not in the rack right now is because it's actually in front of me to the left where it was in that video. Because I want to reshoot that video as soon as I figure out how to get the 4K cameras and the 1080p to sync up correctly again. So that answers that. On the Dane pedal, I haven't tried it. You know what I mean? I've said this before. Pedals like that, they're just not on my radar. Companies, have to send that stuff. I'm not on companies' radars for pedal reviews or a lot of product reviews. You know what I mean? You got to understand, again, just to be clear, I do a lot of reviews. A lot of companies are not interested in reviews. Reviews are kind of like an outdated platform for YouTube channels. There are some channels that are still doing review type videos, but I still do reviews, which means review to me, demo and review are different. Here's how it works. A review has demo in it. I have to demonstrate the product. A review is about giving you my opinion about this product, telling you what I like, dislike about it, and even forcing that. And so in other words, like I think a true review, just like any kind of good review, it's not even about like, I love this or I hate this. It's about presenting to you all the potential things that you may want to know before you make a purchase. So even if I say, oh, I really like this amp, it's really great. However, there's a couple things you should think about or be aware of, you know, especially if you can't touch it or see it. And so that's my channel is mostly based in around a review concept. What I find is that more and more each year, more companies are not interested in getting a review. Why would you? You can send out products for channels that will flat out tell you that they're just a demo channel. They're like, all I do is if I like it, I demo it. And you're like, okay, great. So everything is positive. And I find the majority, I can't say half, I'll say 20%. That sounds fair. 20% of the products that are sent to me by companies, I find that after the video is presented, they are in shock. Like, I don't know if they didn't watch my channel before. Their reaction is flat out shock that I would say the thing I said. Like the Black Star video, they didn't say anything, by the way. Black Star was pretty cool, but they didn't say anything. So, I mean, literally nothing good or bad. I haven't talked to them, but I pointed out there was an issue with one of their amps. And although I think the amp's cool and I think it's a great amp for $150, there's a blatant issue that needs to be somehow corrected in some time in the future. And so sometimes things like that don't go over well with the companies. So they would rather not send the stuff out. So that's my long way of saying a lot of that stuff, you see a lot of it on YouTube, but I'm not on those companies' radars. It's just not a thing. Now, the channel has the size and the views to be on those radars, but I don't think companies are really like, so let me get this straight. We send it to this guy and then he can just bash it. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think I bash stuff, but you get the idea. Sean says, no news is good news. It can, and you know what? In my world, no news from a company after a video is always good news. So, yes. So, okay. But like I said, I heard good things about that pedal. I heard the same thing you guys all heard about that pedal, that it's good. Okay. We have Leon. Leon, what does Leon want to talk about? He wants to say, hey, Phil, I was wondering what are the most important components to upgrade or change when using a guitar volume knob to clean up your sound? This is a great question, Leon. In fact, probably one of my favorites. Here's why. I literally live on my volume knob on my guitar. It's just how I like to live with interacting with an amplifier. Typically, if you were to grab any one of my amplifiers, plug into them, the first thing you would say is a little loud or it's a little distorted, and it's because I'm really backed off a lot with my volume knob. Quarter turn back on my volume knob is kind of like my standard fixed position. This is something that I don't do on YouTube videos. But if I'm not making a YouTube video, I will always keep my volume turned back. So because of that, like you, I'm more sensitive to volume knobs. So I definitely like the treble bleed. It's something I think you should try on every guitar. Every guitar, whether you like it or not, you should try it on every guitar. And I mean literally every guitar. There's a quick way to do this. You can attach some alligator clips to a treble bleed circuit and clip them right on to the tabs of a volume knob. It makes it easy, quick and easy, and you can try it out. It's a very cheap component, and if you roll back the volume, man, it sometimes makes all the world difference depending on the guitar. And this brings me to the core of your question. You're saying, if you're going to use your volume knob a lot, should you focus on pickups, caps, capacitors like that? Cables. The cables are the last thing I'd worry about. The pickups, the thing you need to learn about pickups is some pickups are just like amplifiers in the regards that some amplifiers sound great loud and some amplifiers sound great quiet. You turn them down, they sound good. Turn them up, they sound not so great. Some amps, you turn them up, they sound great, like that Plexi. Turn it down, it loses a little bit of its thunder. That happens with amplifiers. Some guitar pickups are like that. They sound great full throttle. In other words, the volume full. Turn that volume knob halfway back or quarter turn back, they thin out. Everything about them is just unpleasant. Some pickups are fantastic. They warm up. What I've learned is exactly that. Sometimes a pickup I love, if I turn back the volume knob quarter turn, it just thins out and it's just horrible. And some of them warm up. So you do have to experiment with this. And so, yeah, I would, but here's what you're asking. You're asking what things, if you're going to do that, should you modify? Do the treble bleed first. I've been pushing on the channel pretty hard. It's not a new concept. The reason I've been pushing it hard is because I like to push things on you guys that are cheap and easy to do. It's a $6 thing. Anyone can try it. You can experiment with it. If it's stupid, it costs, I was at a coffee shop last week and it was $6.18 for whatever I bought. I bought a drink. I don't know what the hell. I don't know if they put brandy in it now. Do they put brandy in coffee at Starbucks? I'm not sure, but it was $6.18 with tax. That's what a treble bleed cost. Apparently expensive coffee. I know I got some kind of espresso thingy, but anyways, doesn't matter. I would have a treble bleed. Lawrence always says, just say no to treble bleeds. The problem is, as much as I love Lawrence, and me and him always go back, always head to head on this, is all of the guitar companies I love, like Paul Reed Smith and Ibanez and Fender, they use them. But it's your ear and what you want. I don't know if Lawrence, I have to ask him next time I talk to you, Lawrence. I don't know. I never had thought to ask you, do you move your volume knob a lot on your guitar? I mean, are you living on it? Like I live on it. Like I said, if you picked up every guitar in this room right now, I bet you they're all set quarter turn back on the volumes, like a set. In fact, I would actually I think about this. Maybe I need to start modding my own guitars. I'd like a button to just turn my guitar off. So I'd like quarter turn back set always as my standard position setting on the guitar, quarter turn, and then literally just have a button that I turn off. But like I said, it's not a great thing, the treble bleed. It's just something that anybody can experiment with that's super easy. Sean's on a kick today. He says, you're not paying for the coffee, you're paying for the barista with the 4-year degree in gender studies. Yes. Do you know what? All right, I'm going to tell you this story. I apologize. I don't think I ever told you guys this coffee story. I know I told it to the patrons, and if I told you guys this story, I apologize, because sometimes, it's 204 episodes. Sometimes things get redundant. I have a coffee shop I go to. Notice I didn't say Starbucks when I said $6 coffee. That's not where I go. I don't go to Starbucks. There's local coffee shops where I live, and there's some nice ones. And the one coffee shop I like to go to is Slow. I don't know why. It just is. If you go there and you get a coffee, I don't care what time you get. It's 3:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and it's like, it takes 15 minutes to get a coffee. Right? It's a slow process, okay? The problem is they have a drive-through. So you go through the drive-through sometimes, and you sit there for a while. And when I say 15 minutes, it could be 5, but it feels like a long time. I don't know what it is with the training, so I'm going to tell you what happened to me. This is a weird story that happened. I went to this coffee shop when it opened up. This is a couple years ago, and I love their coffee, so I keep going back. So I went there, and what they do, they train the employees. I didn't know this. They train the employees to converse with you, to have conversation. So it's not like Starbucks where you go in there and like, what's your name? And you go, Phil, and they go, Sal. And then that's what I get, Sal. What's your name? Phil, Sal. I always get Sal. Everybody's got a second name because of Starbucks. I don't know if you know this. This is like a side little thing to know. Everyone on the planet Earth that goes to Starbucks, whatever your name is, no matter how easy your name is, they write a different name on our cup sometimes. It's weird. So I'm Sal at Starbucks. Anyways, not Bill, which would be, to me, so much easier to understand. Phil, Bill. It's Sal. Anyways, so back to the coffee shop that teaches their employees to talk to you. They like to talk to you and ask you questions about your day. That's their thing. So you're like, hey, I'd like a coffee. I say espresso. It's cold. I get some kind of cold espresso drink with shot espresso in it. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then I go to the window and I pay for it. And then they go, They go, so how's your day? And I go, it's good. And they go, what are you doing today? Now, this is the story I'm going to tell you. This happened. This is a true story. So this happened. The employee goes, the girl at the window goes, what are you doing today? And I said, oh, I'm going across town. I'm filming a video for guitars. And she goes, oh, what do you do? And I go, oh, I make YouTube videos. And she goes, oh, you make, and this is what they do. They go, well, how many subscribers you have? And I'm like, I don't know, like 200 and something thousand, right? I go, then they go, oh, and this whole conversation, and I don't know how to talk about this. And they go, oh, what's your channel about? And I'm like, oh, I talk about guitars. It was a very awkward thing for me because, I don't know. I don't know what it is. No one's ever asked me what I did, what I was doing. No one's ever cared. So I leave and I think to myself, man, that girl was really nice, but, we didn't need to have the it's your life conversation. So 2 days later, I go back to the coffee shop, different time, different girl. I order the coffee and the girl goes, so what are you doing today? And I said, I'm taking a break from work. Oh, what do you do? I make YouTube videos. Sean goes, I'm a content creator. So anyways, I just say YouTube videos. I make YouTube videos. And she goes, oh, and then and you gotta understand, none of these kids give two craps once you say YouTube, everyone's like, wow, you make YouTube videos? Yeah. And then we go, about what? Guitar. Oh, yeah. Oh. So anyway, I leave and I go, I've decided now, I understand that this is something they train them to do. So I tell my wife, I said, this is not working. I hate this. Every time I go there, we're having a conversation about YouTube and how many subscribers I have and what do I do? So my wife says, tell them you're in media. Tell them you do media, and I go, oh, okay. So I go third time to the coffee shop. It's a guy this time. And same thing, go to the coffee. So, hey, what you doing today? I'm just working, taking a break. And he goes, what do you do? And I go, I'm in media. And he's like, oh, really? What media company? And I'm like, YouTube? And he's like, YouTube has offices in town now? And I go, no, I work from home. And he goes, you can work from home for YouTube? Are they hiring? And I'm like, no, I make YouTube videos. So, this is horrible, right? So I go home and I tell my wife, I go, this was even worse than before because now I just look like a crazy person. So I didn't go to the coffee shop for like a week or two. I can't remember, but it was a period of time. And then I realized I'm afraid of the coffee shop. This is stupid. So I went to the coffee shop. I ordered another coffee. This time I get a girl, same thing. I order the coffee, go to the drive-through window. And the girl's like, what are you doing today? And I go, oh, I'm just working. I'm taking a break and getting coffee. She goes, what do you do? And I go, I drive a dump truck. She's like, oh, cool. I tell everyone now that's what I do for a living. Everywhere I go. I hope some of you, because there's 1,000 of you, if any of you are dump truck drivers, what I've learned is no one cares that you drive a dump truck. No one. When I said it out loud, I even got scared for a second, oh my crap, they're going to probably go what kind of dump truck and how big? Nope. That's how you shut somebody down. You just tell them you drive a dump truck for a living and they don't care. So that's my story. And I'm sorry I went on a tangent. Now we'll go back to guitar stuff. So back to guitar questions. John says, I purchased a Mexican standard Strat and there is a very light coating of rust on the pole pieces of the pickups. Any way I can safely remove the rust without damaging the pickups? Absolutely. I wouldn't use any chemicals. You don't have to. You do not want to use anything that's metal, so don't use steel wool, anything like that. Although you can. Don't. I can just hear the internet shaking as the anger builds. Half of them are like, you'll get steel wool on your pickups. What I use is 3M sheets. They're really fine, like paper sheets. And I just use that and clean it off. You can use, don't use sandpaper, but you got to use something really soft. Like I use the micro mesh sheets. If you have those are great. If you don't, you don't need to buy them for that. But like I said, you can buy these 3M paper sand sheets. You can go to a Michael's or any hardware store and get really fine sandpaper, like 12,000 grit. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, think of this. It's a polishing. Think about this. Here's what you're doing. You're trying not to, one, create a lot of friction, but two, you're not trying to sand these things. You're trying to polish that off. So just polish it like a jeweler would have. So polishing sheets would work. There's all kinds of places to buy that stuff, and there's all kinds of reasons to have those sheets after that's done. So that's what I would use. Well, that's what I use if a customer brings in their guitar and the screws and all that stuff, especially stuff like that where it's not chrome. Because sometimes the problem with chrome is if it's rusted, it's got pitting in it in the chrome, and you're not going to be able to polish the chrome back up. But you can with those pole pieces. So that's what I recommend for that. There you go. So, all right. Next up, what do we have? We have a lot of questions. I can see where my getting off topic really built up the questions. Okay. We have try to be cool. All one word. Says, hey, Phil, wondering if we'll get an updated guitar gear tour soon. Oh, happy Friday. Rock and roll will never die. All right. Gear tour. Yes, like a collection tour. Yes. Funny you should ask that. It's going to happen. I've been pretty diligent, pretty consistent and diligent about saying I don't want to do a my guitar collection video. It's nothing that's really appealed to me to do. I don't know why. I did one when I first started the YouTube channel, but it was really not a gear. It was just me highlighting like 5 or 6 guitars or whatever. But something happened, and it's going to happen. And here's why it's going to happen. I was having a conversation with some of the people at Sweetwater, and during this conversation, when I have Zoom meetings with anybody, it's just like having a meeting with you guys on this, on the podcast, on the show. This is my office. So they see what you see. I'm like talking to them, and I had my guitars behind me as I do. And they made a comment. They said, oh, your guitars are behind you. And we were talking, and I was talking about all the weights of the guitars and why certain guitars weigh certain things and why this matters. And they said, man, you should do a guitar collection video. And I said, yeah, that's what everybody says. I'm not really interested in doing that. And they said, so they emailed me, I don't know, a couple weeks later and said, Phil, I've been thinking about this, your discussion of your guitar collection and how interesting it was when you were going through your guitar collection for us. And they said, I think you're missing a great video. And so they said that they would like to sponsor a video if I do that. So I'm going to be doing it. It's going to be a Sweetwater sponsored video. So it's nice. They're going to sponsor the video, and it's not about anything other than talking about my collection. So there you go. So my guitar collection video is coming very, very soon because Sweetwater was like, hey, if we sponsored it, would you do it? And that wasn't really a goal of mine to do that, but it also seems dumb not to do that since you guys are asking for it like crazy. And then here's Sweetwater saying, we'll sponsor the video and help you get it done. So because it's a lot of editing, it'll be a lot of time to get through the collection to make the video not an hour long. So it's gonna so soon. Yeah. Sean says Sweetwater wants you to show us how many guitars you have so we feel okay having 500 guitars. Yeah, you know that you're not wrong. I think there's also another angle, of course. It's just they know that if I do a guitar collection video, it'll get some views, of course. And then of course it reminds everybody, hey, Sweetwater's out there selling guitars. That's not a bad combination. But I really think the tie-in that they're really interested in is Sweetwater is the only main, big retailer like Guitar Center, Sam Ash, AMS, Z Sounds, which is basically AMS. Musician's Friend, they're the only ones that give you the weights of the guitars. You know what I mean? They show you actual pictures of the guitars, but they give you weights of the guitars. How much, and let you pick between 4 guitars, the different weights. And so hearing that's something that I apparently care about and why, I think they think that's a great way to illustrate to you guys why Sweetwater has value to you. So there you go. I think that's what it is, but we'll see. It's cool. Like I said, it seems like a very easy video to make. So, let's see. It says, Vape Fagan says, when you say sponsor, you mean they are paying you, right? Everyone has a different definition sponsor. I don't understand understand that question. So the way I would see sponsored, so here's the way I think I see sponsors, and it's just maybe it's different than other people. Companies can send product. I think that means they're sponsored. I think if they give me a discount on product, I think that's sponsored. I think if they do giveaways, like if they just give, like I have a Stu Mac sponsored Instagram that's supposed to happen soon. And the entirety of that sponsorship is Stu Mac hired a person to run their social media. I forget her name. I want to say Allie. She seemed very nice. And she reached out to me and said, I watched your toolkit video where I did the toolbox, the tackle box. And she said, I'd like to put that together as a package and do a giveaway on Instagram. And so the deal on that is I'm going to give a toolkit away, which will then make you guys think I'm cool for giving that away. And then maybe you'll subscribe to me on Instagram. I think that's the benefit of that. I don't know. I haven't figured out what the hell Instagram is other than, this place where I just post other stuff besides YouTube. But whatever the value of Instagram is, I guess if you subscribe to my Instagram, you can win this toolkit. So that is a sponsored video, but there's no payment or product to me. It's just giving product to you guys. And then of course there's paid. Sweetwater, like when AMS sponsors a video, it's usually they ship the product out. That's usually how they do it. There's no product to ship out. They did ask me if I wanted or needed any product for that video, but obviously my guitar collection doesn't need a guitar sent out to me. So what we're going to do is what a tactic I like, is I'm going to use the sponsorship from that video to make another video with them. So you'll see that video as well. So that's basically what I'm getting at, Fagan, is that that's how I kind of do this stuff. I use the video that they want me to make the video that I think we are more interested in. Although the guitar collection, I think you guys are interested in. So the reason I'm trying not to say it is because I don't want to tell you. So basically, they're sponsoring the video. The problem is I can't tell you exactly what the sponsorship is because then you'll know what the other video I'm going to make is. So that's basically, it's a tit for tat. So, right? You know what I mean? So I'm going to make this video there and tell you the guys that they sponsored it. And then I'm going to make another video with the power of that sponsorship. And so really they're sponsoring two videos, if that makes any sense. But they're only taking care of one thing. Somebody says, it sounds like too much work. Hold on, I'm just reading. EJ says, your guitar collection video definitely needs a guitar sent out to keep in your collection. Yeah, what's funny to me is my deal with sponsorship and with companies is always about trying to figure out how to make more videos. That's really what I'm after. How many videos can I make? It's if that's the thing. So, and videos I want to make. The video you'll see this Sunday is sponsored by AMS, but sponsor meaning they just sent out the product so we can do the video. So again, it's different, but that's the goal. Okay. Somebody says, it's way too much work. You should just drive a dump truck. Yeah. No, YouTube is not a... you have to love it. I definitely think this falls into a lot of categories of you have to enjoy this to some degree, for sure. Otherwise, it'll make you nuts when you're working for negative. I mean, it's an in-sum game. At the end of the year, you end up ahead, but it's lots of testing to see what works. I only talk about some subjects like this because I know some of you guys out there are YouTube channels and you're making content. And I've learned that's the only way it's worked for me is for me personally is, some videos cost me a fortune and they net no dividend, and some videos make you a great dividend. Somebody said, ask for a Gibson Tom Petty guitar. Yes. Hold on. Yeah, that'd be cool as a guitar. But I can tell you right now, the other video I'm going to make is a video you guys want as well. They're both videos that you guys, you'll see. It'll make so much sense when it's all ready. It's probably got to be the 2 most requested videos. Give us your guitar collection, and I'll give you a little hint just because I feel like teasing you guys. The other video I'm going to do is this. I have a video that's very successful, and everyone keeps saying you need to do another version of that video. You need to do another version of that video. And so this is going to let me do that. So let's get to some more questions. The next question is from Mahogany. Mahogany says, I got a good deal on a guitar last week. Thanks for the shopping tips. Just sharing the love. All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very nice. I got a good deal on a guitar last week too. Same thing. And that is, I'm not going to do a review of that guitar. I don't think there's a reason to, but I will do a video of the guitar soon because it's going to be used for another video. So I'm excited about that. Dave Hunter said, Phil, thoughts on the Marshall DSL 5 CR for the home bedroom amp? I love the DSL stuff. The 20 was great. The 40 was great. The DSL 5. I wasn't a fan of the 15. I think the 15 was the head without reverb. I like the DSL 20 with the reverb. I did not love the DSL 1. So I did one video. I had a 1 in 4 shot to get this right, and I screwed it up. So I wanted a DSL amp. I was thinking about the 5, and then I was thinking about the 20, and then the 1 watt, and I bought the 1 watt. The 1 watt I did not love, and that's what came across in that video. It's not bad. It's not a horrible product. It just didn't fit me. I don't love it. And I ended up selling it to a guy on Craigslist in a parking lot for less than what so I bought it new, reviewed it. I have a thing. I don't like to return stuff if I review it. It's tough, right? It's a tough thing. Because it gets in a weird situation of, okay, well, you know what I mean? So in that case, I sold it at a loss. And then once you do something like that, you're not very excited about buying another product. If I would have gone back in time, if I could have had a crystal ball, I would have bought the DSL 20 head, and I've been super happy. So something to think about. The 5 watt head might be to your liking as well too, but oh, so you know what? I'm going to jump one question to go to this one because it kind of fits. It's Jay Turi says, not a question, but I got a Marshall DSL 1. So, okay, that's the amp we were just talking about. Thinking it would be better for apartment practice than my 100 watt. Was I wrong? Thinks it says things dang loud. It is dang loud. Yes. So, I mean, obviously it's better than your 100 watt amp for the apartment volume. I think, unfortunately, I mean, you're in the same boat. You just got it. If you like it, I think you should keep it. If you don't like it, I think you should change it. I think I would go with the 20 watt. The 20 watt has the switch. The whole wattage thing is the confusing part. I think that's the thing that maybe companies are wrong about, and then YouTubers are wrong about. It's this whole idea of like, wattage to me is more important for performance. Being on stage and trying to get an amp to break up that's a 50 watt amp is tough. Now, if an amp has a master volume and a gain control, and you can get as much gain, you can set that volume wherever you want, like a 5150 amp, it doesn't matter. Any stage volume is fine. But when you're talking about like a Marshall type amp or a Fender type amp where you're trying to crank it to break it up, on stage, anything above 15, 20 watts for a lot of stages is just a lot of volume. It's just a little hard to take. So that's why a lot of musicians are like, I need 5 watts. The problem with the bedroom player is they're looking for something even quieter. So sometimes, in my experience, a 20 watt, a 50 watt amp will sound better than a 1 or 5 watt if it has that gain and master volume, because you can use the gain control, right? The volume to kind of crank it and use the master volume, or use something like that JHS black box, put that in the effects loop, and then turn that into the master amp or master volume, or use an attenuator. So that's where I was with the 1 watt amp for me. And personally, I like the Black Star 1 watt amp a little better. For that, I'm about to review one of those again to see. We'll see. I have not actually plugged into it since it's got here because I want to do a reaction video to it. So I haven't plugged it in, but that's my thoughts. I'm thinking, to be honest with you, for bedroom play, I think the 20 watt would be more than enough, and same with the 5 watt. More than enough to get quiet. Because it does. I can get that amp pretty quiet, especially if I use the effects loop on those. Grumpy Mike Guitar says, I got a kick out of seeing my ugly mug at the end of your pickup video last Sunday for the tone jar, and why not? Cheers, and why not? Yeah, that was great. You sent that. I got a bunch of pictures, and yours just came in like right when I was editing the video, and I was like, perfect, and I put it right on the end. I think I like doing it this way better. The other way I was montaging your guys's with the pictures of the shirts and the mugs and stuff. And now I'm just picking one of you per video. And I like it this way. I hope you guys like it too. I like highlighting you guys for supporting the channel. That's really, really, really what it's about. I have this thing here. I think I'll show you. This is kind of fun. There's some moderators here. I remember I talked about at Christmas about giving the moderators a shirt, and because my wife wanted to do this like gift card thing, and I said, "Oh, let's do a custom shirt." And then it's been my wife's been working her butt off based on these stupid drawings I made. She made me a prototype mug. I'm going to share it with you. So if there's a moderators watching, this is the concept of the moderator shirt. I see I had her put the wrench in the hand, and I think she decided the moderator is going to say and be in white. So I don't know what she's up to. That stuff's still coming to you guys, but this is the official logo. This is not for sale. That's the whole point. This is just for the moderators to say thank you. That's what this stuff is. It's like a custom one-off thing for you guys to say thanks. But I was so proud of my idea. Hold on. What the hell am I doing? And I should describe it. For the podcast listeners, it's got the blue wrench you see with moderators on YouTube, and I put it in I had her put it in the hand of the guitar player on the Know Your Gear logo. So that's what she's working on, and she'll reach out to you guys ASAP as soon as that's all worked out. But I thought I'd share it with you guys. See, Bam Mozzie. Yeah, it looks cool, right? I thought so too. I just thought it would be cool. I was hoping it would be a conversation piece for people, whether you have a shirt or the mug or whatever it is she sends out. She's working on a package to send you guys of something. And you know, it's kind of like, what's that? And you can go, oh, I'm a moderator, like Ben. Yeah, it looks great. See, I thought it'd be fun. I thought it'd be fun to share with everybody. I will share the final thing with everybody once she's done and sends it out to you guys. Floopity-doo. Floopity-doo says, awesome. I promise not to drink booze from it. Now, I think that's fine. You can drink booze from it. No problem. Okay, so we have Aaron. Aaron Peacock says, Phil, my guy, love the channel. Dude, thank you so much for the super chat and the compliment. That's always nice. Raymond says, missed a bunch of shows. Hope you are well. Yeah, I'm good. Doing good. You know, doing good. Staying out of trouble. If you guys didn't see, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I appreciate all the support I get on all the platforms. I really do. Instagram is a sore spot for me. I don't love Instagram. I post updates to you guys there and stuff, but you know, it's not my thing. But I did post the other day. So those of you guys that watch or follow Instagram, you probably know this. I have a Tone Master amp. That's what I bought last Saturday. I bought a Tone Master amp. For those of you guys watching, this will be funny. I can't remember. I can't remember what the hell I said last Friday. But last Friday I said, I like the Tone Master, but $1,000 is too much for my blood. If they were like $800, I thought I said that. Maybe I said $700. I can't remember. I'd buy one. I shit you not. I'm sorry, but I gotta say it. I walked into Guitar Center on Saturday with Ralph, and the Tone Master amps are all on sale, 25% off. They're $750. I think I don't remember if they're $999 or $899. They're $750 now at Guitar Center, maybe $725. Whatever it is, it was, and that's not. It wasn't a closeout. It wasn't a demo or a scratch and dent. They gave me one brand new box. So I was sitting there with Ralph, and you know he's sitting there, and I'm like, I just told the audience that if they were this price, I'd buy one. He's like, well, I guess you're buying one. And I'm like, I guess I'm buying one. So I have been diligently, I've already, so you know how important this is, I've already filmed 3 videos of this thing. So it'll be soon. I'm just trying to figure out how to convey all the weird things that I think about this amp that are good and bad to you guys. So... So now you know. So if you're interested in getting one, apparently they're on sale at Guitar Center. Or, you know, now that you know that, you can probably get your preferred seller to match that. Aaron Short said, awesome. Yeah. So yeah, it's like I said, you'll see the review. There's a lot of great things about it, and there's a lot of not great things about it. It's a very, it's the most interesting product I think I've on the channel for sure, by far. I can literally name 10 horrible things I can think about this product and 10 amazing things about it. And that's where I'm not at, is where I'm at. The only thing I know is it's not horrible and it doesn't suck, because that would be easy to decide, right? When something's really bad, it's easy. Yeah, the pic says we're at Guitar Center's website. I don't know if the Guitar Center website has the price there, but it's in there. It's posted on stickers or on cards in their store. So you would have to probably call to get the price, I'm guessing. Unless Fender is adjusting the map down. I did tell Ralph on Saturday I had a theory. I don't know if you know, but the 65 Deluxe, the tube one, is now $1,400 US, $1,399. They just raised the map. I think they did it on February 1st, and I wasn't paying attention. So now that it's 14, so I said it would be funny, coincidentally funny, if the Tone Masters got marked down to $750 map now, because now you would be in a situation where a customer walks in a store and you buy a deluxe reverb, or for half the price, you can have the Tone Master deluxe reverb. Wouldn't it be interesting if they did that? That would definitely be something I've seen Fender do before. Strategically, it makes a ton of sense. It makes it, because that's my problem. Think about all the holdouts like me on the Tone Master. It's like, not only is the price the problem, it's that for a little bit more, I could have the real thing, whatever the hell that means. And now I'm like, well, $1,400. So now I think the average guitar player walking in the store is looking at $1,400 or $750. I think that would make it really tough to go. Even if you think about this, even if you A/B'd them side by side at a Guitar Center and you said, oh, I think the real one's better. Now you got to go, is it double? So it'd be interesting if they do adjust that, or if it's just Guitar Center's overstocked a little bit and they're selling them through. I just don't know. So, somebody says it'd be so hilarious. Wait, what was it? It would be hilarious. Andy said it would be, oh, hey, Andy. Andy said it would be hilarious if they sent me one for free. Yeah, they probably will. I've asked Fender for one to review, to loan me, and they couldn't. Or they wouldn't. That's actually the right answer. They wouldn't send one out. And so, I try to use Cache with some of the big retailers that I've done some videos doing that thing I told you about, where they're like, hey, would you do this video? I'm like, yeah, would you send out a Tone Master for me to do a video with? Because I've been trying to get my hands on one and try one. And they didn't want to do it either. They didn't want me to do a video of that. I'm like, I feel like, I've never felt like there's ever been a product. I don't want to start a conspiracy craze thing here, but I feel like this is the only conspiracy thing I've ever felt since I've been on YouTube. I have never felt like everyone has really not wanted me to try a product. In fact, so I was in Germany at Thomann when the Fender guys brought the first Tone Master to Thomann to do videos, and I talked to them and I said, man, can I do a video? And they go, oh, it doesn't come out yet, we can't release it. I said, well, can I do an NDA? Can I check it out? And then I won't discuss it until after the release date. You know what I mean? Whatever you say the date is, I can't talk about it. And they go, no. And then when they released it at the Summer NAMM, I said, oh, could I check it out? And they said, no. And then I talked to the guy I talked to at Fender and I said, hey, can we send one out to borrow to do for the channel? And he said, no. And I was like, okay, they just don't want to send this amp out. I'm not sure what it was. So now that I have it in hand and I bought one, yeah, like I said, you'll see in the video. Okay. Yeah, Sean says, go on Guitar Center. There's more used Tone Masters than used tube versions. Look, I think that's why I'm taking this video very seriously, because of the fact that I think there are some serious things to consider before you pull the trigger on this amp at any price point. There are some serious negatives that are problematic, and there are some serious positives. But, like anything, you got to weigh it out. To me, it's not a clear winner product it's not as easy as everybody go out and buy one. It's great. I'll tell you this, it sucks a lot less when you pay less for it though. Okay. So Robert says, who is the best value small builder at the moment, in your opinion? That is, what builder gives you the most for $3,000 or less? I say Kiesel guitars. I can alienate. There's 1,055 of you right now. I don't want you to think like I'm on the payroll of Kiesel. So let me tell you why I say this. I have a friend. He's still my friend. In fact, he made me and my wife dinner last week. Thank you, Eric, for dinner last week. He's still my friend, and I could even tell in his tone how pissed he was when I told him this. So I'm going to tell you guys something that you're not going to like to hear. I had a long conversation with some people, not Jeff Kiesel though. Some people had Kiesel, because that would probably be worse if I had it with Jeff Kiesel, where I explained how their prices are not in line with the market. They're way too cheap. So he was like, what? You told them their guitars are too cheap? I showed them mathematically that their guitars are out of line with the market, that they're actually cheaper than the market is demanding for like product. Not even American made versus Indonesian. I didn't talk about any of that stuff. I'm talking about product line by product line. They are not in line. They are less. And it's because they haven't had a price increase that is substantial in a while. So that is why I say that about that great line, that product line. I think they're really great. So the good news is this. I said that they didn't care. They were going to keep their prices the way they are anyways. I just thought it was important to mention it. And I was putting my money where my mouth was. I just ordered a Kiesel. I did it in February. I ordered a Kiesel. So I wanted a special guitar, so I ordered it. And then when I ordered it, I was in shock at the pricing. I thought it was way lower than what it should be for what it was compared to what other companies are charging for even production guitars. The pick says, buy American, Phil. Buying American is a luxury. I don't look, you guys, it's not hard to figure out. It's a luxury. And that's why when I talk about product, I will always talk about it in all of its integrity, or not integrity, in all its entirety, which is, everybody's got to buy the price point they can afford that makes sense for them. The truth is that there are price points that everybody fits their needs. I say that it's not hard to figure out. Look at my amp collection behind me. That's made in the USA. That's made in the USA. Well, let's look. Okay. The Marshalls, both Marshalls I own are made in Britain. The Dr. Z is made in the USA. My two Fender amps that you're looking at are actually made in the USA. My Rock Crusher is made in the USA. The Mesa Boogie up there is made in the USA. My Free One is made in the USA. My PRS was made in the USA. My other Fender amp down there is made in the USA. My Engel was made in Germany. There's not, my other preamp is made in the USA. If you look at my guitar collection, it's 90% made in the USA. I say that because that's a luxury to do that though. Let's not bullshit anybody with this, hey, you should buy, you should buy what you feel fits your needs and some of us have families, right? Some people want to own a guitar and put their kid through college. And you can't buy a PRS private stock in a Gibson custom shop. Some people can't, and still make all the bills happen. And so, or there's more important things to buy sometimes, right? Maybe want a car that runs. So I agree with you. So the reason I bring this up is because this is a subject that comes up a lot, especially on channels, gear channels, especially, only buy USA, or don't buy China, or, buy USA's overrated, buy only import. Everybody's going to have an iron in this fire, so to speak, as they like to say. Me personally, I've been collecting a long time. I aspire to own some of the nicer guitars because it's something I just like to do. I'm very upfront of the fact because I repair guitars. They're not that much better than anything else. As much as I like the American-made guitars, they're just not that much better anymore. But there is something cool about owning them because they're the guitars I wanted when I was a kid. There's all kinds of things. The point is, there's all kinds of reasons out there, and I wish it was that easy. Trust me. And I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it over and over again. As an American, as a person who lives in Phoenix, Arizona, I would actually prefer everyone to buy a product, not only made in America, but in Phoenix, Arizona, because that's my economy. That's my personal economy. I want to fuel where I live the most. And I think that's a smart thing to do for everybody. Everybody should try to fuel their own economies. But also, everybody's got to make a decision. And it's based on so many more things than one thing. Chronicle says some of those U.S. guitars are imported parts from, like, basically China. Absolutely, of course. Well, half these amps are made. I'm pretty sure, like, I have this PRS Archon right here. It says assembled in the USA, and it's mostly going to come from Chinese parts. And I believe they're actually going to 100% made in China on the Archon. I thought what I was understanding. So, I mean, that's going to be the thing. Yeah, of course. Sean says, I don't care what it's made. You can make amazing guitar anywhere. Of course. Again, these are all weird subjects that don't actually have to do with quality, though. There's a ton of reasons why we like to buy the things we want. That's why I said I try to go through the entirety of it. There's a reason why I think as a gear channel, as a guitar channel, guitar gear channel, why it's important to discuss a $75 made in China guitar and a $6,000 made in USA guitar. Not to highlight either one, but again, it's just because it's important to present all the information I can. I'm not here to make the decisions for you guys. I hope you understand that. You guys have to make your own life choices about everything. I'm here making content to show you everything, like everything. This is what's good. This is what I think is not so good. This is what's interesting. Show you everything. You guys figure it all out for yourself. So there you go. And then a lot of you guys, I love the comments. They're all filled up right now. A lot of people are like, Eastman guitars are great. Of course. Look, man, some of those Glary guitars for $75 are accidentally too good. And some of them are bad. So there's, like I said, there's all kinds of good guitars out there, and bad guitars, and good products and bad products. So I just want to, Dead Shred 9, I like this one. It says, hey, Phil, I bought an Indio Strat copy from Monoprice to mod up. The frets feel gritty. How can I fix this? I have fret shining tools. Well, then that's how you fix it. Your frets are gritty. They need to be polished. That's it's pretty much easy as that is. So I'm confirming your already internal idea, which is, yes, you need to do that. So, and then we'll stay on the subject for a few seconds because it's always a hot spot. Somebody put, they were disappointed. Where was it at? It jumped. It's because now you guys are getting really hot with the comments. Somebody put, I can't even read the names. It looks like a bunch of these. It says, PRS disappointed me by going to China manufacturing. Yeah, here's the thing with that. And I'm not defending it. Again, I'm going to explain it and you make your own decision. They went to court. That's what they did. They went to court. That's all it was about. They went to court manufacturing. Look, I obviously interviewed the COO of PRS, who is in charge of the SE line. He told me the answer. He's like, look, we went to Court Guitars. Why? Because it's a one-stop shop for them. Court Guitars can make acoustics, which PRS has acoustics. They can make basses. They can make electrics, hollow bodies. They can make every kind of guitar. They can deliver those guitars, which is very important because PRS's product line, like Gibson. By the way, Gibson, same boat as them, and Epiphone and Fender and Squier, which is Squier sells more units than Fender. Epiphone sells more units than Gibson. PRS SE sells more units than PRS. So it's important when you need those shipments that they show up. So they went to Court. Court Guitars makes their electric guitars in Indonesia, their acoustics and hollow bodies in China. So I tell you that just so you're aware of the fact that really it's not like PRS went, oh, we're going to go to China on this one. They just went with Court, and so it's wherever Court makes the product. That was their logic, to get the product delivered. And of course, to take advantage of the cheaper manufacturing so that they could obviously make more money, because that's what they're a business. I don't know if you guys know this, but PRS is like all these guys, they're businesses. They love guitars, but they really want to make money. You can love guitars without having to make them. Making them is about wanting to make money doing guitar. So I just say that because I understand. I'm with you, by the way. I'm also disappointed that the guitars are made in China, that they're $1,500 now. I don't love the idea, but it is what it is. So again, like I said, I'm not defending it. I just explain it. You make the decision if that's what you want to buy or not buy. What I will tell you on that note is that this is why I think that's why I did the reviews of those guitars. The problem is you have a choice. You have three choices. Here's your choices. Buy the made in China one for $1,500. Buy the USA one for, you have four choices. You have buy the Chinese one for $1,500, buy the USA one for $6,000, buy a used one, which now is fetching $4,000 to $5,000, but back a year ago before COVID, you could pick them up for $3,000, so half, or don't buy one at all. Those are your four choices. There you go. All right. Okay. Yeah, and then now you guys are a lot of you talking about the PRS Indonesia, just because PRS is on the table, so we're talking about them. PRS Indonesian factor as being how much it's like the U.S. factory process. In a lot of ways, it's better because it's more refined in the fact that, obviously Cort makes a lot more guitars, so they refine the factory process. So, yeah, so it's a thing, man. You got to decide. I have trouble with it both ways. I'm not a hardcore on any fence. I'm in the middle, not because it's a political stance that I want to be in the middle. It's because, when I started playing guitar, I think I've told this story. When I started playing guitar, that's what was, when I walked in the music store, the very first day, my first experience with guitar was this thing we're talking about. So it's not going to ever stop. I think I've been playing guitar now for 25 years, maybe longer. I don't even remember. Starts running on after a while. The very first day in the music store, I was like, I'm looking for a guitar. And this was like, well, you're looking for a made in USA one or a made in Japan one? And I was like, it was the weirdest question to this day. Now it's like, of course, that's what he asked me. But at that day, I remember thinking, this is the weirdest thing. What is he talking about? And then I said what I think every teenage kid back then said, I don't care. And then I bought a guitar that was made in Korea. Because here's what's funny about the story. I couldn't even afford a made in Japan or American guitar. The made in Japan guitar was double what my budget was, and the made in USA guitar was triple what my budget was. So I walked out with a made in Korea guitar because that was like your third option of cheap. And I didn't even understand the question. So it's something we focus on, which is I love about us in this industry, but it's also something that's always weird in that we discuss it. All right, we got to go to the next subject because that was a long time to be on one subject. We are going to go to Voodoo Fist. Voodoo Fist says, hey, Phil, I bought a Fender Tele Ultra. The action is low. Perfect, but the bridge height screws are sticking up too high and cutting into my flesh. Is there a fix to this so I can keep the action low like it is? Yes, you have two options on this. You can buy new threaded screws, those adjusters, those Allen adjusted screws. You can buy ones that are shorter. Just go online, look for them. They're easy. If I can find them online when I do the recap, I'll put a link. You put them in there and then you're fine. If you can't find those for some reason, or you just don't want to spend any money, even though you just bought an Ultra Tele, so you got the scratch. You got to spend a couple extra bucks to get it that way. You can cut them. I take them out, I cut them, and then you smooth them and round. I round the tips and stuff, and it's up to you. I mean, it's what I do for customers all the time. But you can just buy shorter ones. So there you go. That would help a lot. Stephanie says, have you ever played a Lincoln Brewster Strat? I'm thinking about trading my Performer and a few pedals for that, and I wanted to know your thoughts. I don't think I have. Let me take a second. This is one of those, I'm really taxing my memory on this. Okay, I have not. I have not tried it, so I can't give you any feedback on it. So I don't know what the neck feels like or, the tone-wise. But you say you have a Performer Strat and a few pedals? I don't know. I can't give you any suggestions because I don't know the guitar that well. I'm sorry. That's tough. But I usually could say buy what you want. What I can tell you is I don't think there's an issue with either one in their quality-wise. So I don't think you're going down in quality. If that's what you're concerned about. Are you going down? Are you making a back step? I don't know if you're making a back step. Feels kind of sidestep to me. You know what I mean? To me personally, like, you know, if it's more what you want, it's kind of better, but I don't know if there's going to be any dramatic benefits to doing that. But the important part probably for you right now is I don't see any negatives. So maybe that helps you with making that purchase decision. Tom Slater says, cheers, Phil. I've been out of action since Christmas with RSI, and you've helped me through these few months. Don't try and play through pain, people. Yes. Yeah. That's always a good suggestion too. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. It says you've been out of action. You're not saying you're feeling better now, but I think you're feeling better. I hope so. If not, I hope you feel better soon. Yeah. And I'm glad the channel did well for you. But yeah, great way to reiterate that is, yes, when you're hurt, you should stop playing. Stop hurting yourself. M. Kara says, I just bought a Duesenberg TV Star Player P90 on the neck and humbucker. On the neck and a humbucker in the bridge. Didn't buy to sell. Wanted something different. But as a fan of you, curious on the Duesenberg guitars resale since it's rarely discussed. The Duesenberg guitars resale value isn't one of the best ones that I've seen out there. And it's mostly because, again, you got to understand, this is the important part to kind of always chime in on. There's a few companies, and we know who they are. It's Gibson, it's Fender. They're the primary of the two. And then there's a few others that get to live in the beautiful resale value world, okay? So what's great about that is that they will always have great resale value. The rest of the companies are kind of hit and miss on it. But the important part for me is that, like you said, you're not thinking about selling it, you're just buying it. But the important part is that I liked all the Duesenberg guitars I've played. That's definitely a guitar that if I saw an opportunity to buy one and it was in the right time for me, I would definitely get it. It falls into the I can't have everything kind of category. And for some reason, like I have a Gretsch and I just like my Gretsch. But the Duesenbergs I've played have been fantastic. Mr. Fancy Hand says, hey, Phil, are you able to put into words why tube/digital/solid state amps feel different from each other? What's your preference? Love from the UK. Sure. Yes to all those questions. So I have a preference? Absolutely. Tube amps is my preference. Then solid state, then digital. I like digital processing. What I mean by that is like Axe Effects, Kemper, Helix. I like the units doing it, not so much the amp. And then I'll put it in whatever amp I want, whether it be solid state or tube. A lot of people talk about the feel, right? That is more compressed. The tubes have a reaction. There's a feel. There's also, to me, there is in the amp, not in the recording. See, it depends on the argument. So I'm gonna take you down a road. So you're asking me, can I explain the difference? Yes, I can. Here's how I explain it. When we talk about digital, whether we're talking about modeling or solid state or tube amps, recorded wise, the differences are very, very thin. In other words, thin being very, very minute, not a lot of differences between the sounds. Once you record an amp and turn it, especially now, into ones and zeros and put it on a computer and then try to replay it to people, it is digital. Everything is digital now. However, this argument that a tube amp, that you play it differently because it reacts differently. Sure, of course. There's all those things are factors. But for me, the decision for tube amp over solid state, then over digital, for me is all about the high-end response. High-end being the high frequencies. High-end frequencies are less harsh to me on tube amps. There's just something about them that seem fuller, less, the same distortion. It's less harsh to my ear. Digital sounds good, but always has this harsh high-end kind of, I call it the digital chirp. It's like a chirp. I hear it when I hit my pick hits the string on a guitar. If you plug me into a digital amp right now and then into the tube amp, when I hit the digital, there's always this like high-end chirp that happens. And then I have to kind of EQ it and fight it and find a thing. And this is the biggest issue for me. And not all tube amps are great, so that's not where I'm going with this. But what I want to say is when a tube amp is good, man, it's just amazing. And there's no want for anything. It's not like when I plug into a good tube amp, I go, oh, this is good, but I wish it was better. There's no want. Same thing with any other amp, digital or solid state. You plug into them. If it's good, then I guess you're fine. But I like them. I use them. They all have a purpose. And to be honest with you, I have no specific, like, they can have my tube amp when I die. Other than that, I'm never switching. Look, I use all three formats. I use all three products all the time. There's just a purpose for them. Recording digital stuff is great. So, you know what I mean? I like bias effects. I like all, kinds of stuff into my computer, and just plugging in and doing stuff. I can get great tones, in my computer all the time. I can get great tones out of my Helix, Stomp. I'm happy with it. I don't plug into it and go, man, this is horrible. I just, for some reason, when I play tube amps, there's just something about the warmth and clarity that I really, really have drawn to, and I really like, and I don't have to find a spot where I can kind of tolerate it. So that's kind of my take on that. And by the way, the last super chat is going to be Frederick John, because I realize it's late. We have a Shinnery Kid. A Shinnery Kid says, my 594 PRS bridge pickup isn't aggressive enough for punk. Yeah, well, right, because it's it's 5708 slow turn, right? Low turn. Recommendations for a pickup, punk. I'd put the metal in it, man. You don't have to buy a PRS pickup, but if you want, you can buy the PRS pickup. Get the metal one. That will do it. It'll punch. I think that would sound fantastic in the 594. If you don't want to go, well, you have a 594, man. Whether you have the S2 or I think you got the scratch, so to speak, to buy that pickup. I would do that pickup. I think you'd be happy. If you don't want to pay that kind of money, you could just get a more aggressive pickup from Seymour Duncan, or get one from DiMarzio or from Bare Knuckles. Again, here's the easy part, man. Those pickups are pretty warm and soft, low output pickups. Everything. I mean, even if you go with I'm not saying to do this, but if you go with a DiMarzio PAF or a 59 by Seymour Duncan, that's even going to have more punch than those pickups. So you can only go up in what you need. Joe says, howdy Phil, any quick tips for fixing a trim arm on a vintage style Strat bridge? Too much play in the trim if you don't crank it down tight. So there's a couple things. First, you got to make sure, if you have the spring in there, to make sure, because you're saying a vintage style Strat. So do you have the spring in there? That should fix it already. In fact, if the spring is in there at the bottom and you're tightening it and it's still not tight, then you probably have the threads are stripped a little bit. And then you might want to use some like plumber's Teflon tape. That could fix that as well. And that's assuming that it is vintage Strat style bridge and it does not have an Allen adjustment somewhere underneath the bridge plate. So if you look at the side, so you definitely want to hit all three of those things in that order. Make sure your spring is there. Make sure your spring isn't. There's a reason why they sell the springs like in a 10-pack, because they wear out too if you're using the spring. You need a new one. After time, you compress them and they don't do the same job. That also, all those things will work. And if you don't have the spring and you don't have Teflon tape, you can always just shove a one of those foam earplugs in the hole and just put it in there, and that'll kind of fix it. That'll work too. I've done all those things. It's a quick fix, but it works. TT says why so few SHS configurations? Wayne Kramer guitars. He's talking about the Wayne Kramer Fender guitar that's single humbucker single guitars, especially for Nashville Telecasters. Put some splittable DP 100s. Well, the answer is simple. It's because it's an uncommon look. The manufacturers kind of decided all this. Humbucker single, humbucker. They put that out. Musicians play it. You know what I mean? The mainstay, we all followed the leader, so to speak, the guitar players that use that stuff. So that's probably why you don't see too much of it. My big thing for me personally is that wouldn't appeal to me as a pickup configuration because of the fact that I like humbuckers mostly in the bridge. That's where I like my single coils in the neck, and I like my humbuckers in the bridge. That's kind of where I'm at. And to me, middle pickups are never used for me unless I'm using them with a neck pickup. So most of my guitars are some kind of humbucker, or 3 single coils, or HSS. Like I said, I don't have very many guitars where the middle pickup is something I use a lot. So I'm sure that's why. And I'm pretty boring. So I mean, I'm boring by meaning the majority of guitar players are kind of following the same boring road I'm doing. So you're just, you're more outside the box than the other guys. So that's what it is. Armin says, Amrod. Amrod? Sure. I'm going to say Amrod. Amrod says, hey, Phil, what would cause a guitar to be bassy I have changed the pickups and the sound almost the same. It's a Harley Benton C24. So I've played the Harley Benton C24, and so that's their custom 24 PRS style guitar to be bassy. So there's a lot of reasons why it would do that way. A lot of times the pickups are far away from the pickups. Ugh, the pickups are far away from the strings. See, when we get towards the end of the second hour, I get a little lost. That could be doing it for sure. And I know you said you've changed the pickups and the sound is almost the same. So again, you changed the pickups, but I don't know what you changed them to. My thought would be two things. First, maybe back the pickups away, or, make sure they're not too far away is what I'm trying to say. Also, you can tilt them so that the treble side of the pickup is more towards the strings. That might help the problem as well. I don't think it's the guitar. Sometimes it can be the guitar, but in your case, I don't think it's the guitar. Because like I said, I've played that guitar and there's not a lot in that guitar that's going to create a lot of low end warmth. Sometimes it's a hollow body guitar. Sometimes it's semi-hollow. Sometimes it's a type of bridge. So there you go. If none of those things work, adjusting the pickup should work. If that doesn't work, something you can also think about doing is changing out the bridge. Maybe get a brass block on the back. Maybe get some harder saddles. Those will all fix it too. Okay. Sean Drew says, I have an ESP E2 Horizon FR, not cheap, of course, because I have the ESP E2 Horizon non-Floyd Rose. Says, and it has fret sprouts so bad that the finish is bubbling under the fret. Yeah, that's what PRSs do when they do that. Whenever you get that push away, it's because the frets are pushing out and pushing on the finish. Can anything be done? Yeah, absolutely. It can be fixed. But you need to take it to a shop. It's not something I would recommend you do yourself. However, I don't care what the companies say. Here's what I would do if I was you. All right. Sean, I don't know how long you've had it, but assuming you didn't buy it used and assuming it hasn't been years, I would contact the retailer or the manufacturer to see about solutions to get this fixed. And I think they might pleasantly surprise you. ESP is a good company. There's guitar companies. Look, you kind of know this industry, at some point, working with everybody. ESP is a company that I've never worked with on the channel. I've never worked with ESP. So, on the channel. I reviewed two of their guitars. I bought one and AMS sent the other one out. And I had AMS send one out because, again, AMS is like, hey, is there anything we can work together on? And I said, yeah, I want to do something with guitars that I've never had on the channel. The reason I tell you that is because I like Jeff. Jeff's the owner, or at least he runs ESP. I like everything about the guy. I like ESP. I like how they run their business. For some reason, my channel doesn't go on their radar, so I'm just not there. But that being said, I think they're a good company and I think they'll take care of you. So assuming that it's not all these, the outliers would be that you're like the second or fifth owner. It's, it's an old guitar. It gets a little tough for them to kind of back that kind of thing up. But I mean, if you've had it for about a year and you're the first owner for sure, I would definitely contact the retailer or the manufacturer, whichever relationship you have, that depending on also how old it is. So if it's a newer guitar, like you just got it, definitely go retailer first. Let the retailer contact the manufacturer, get it taken care of. They can fix it. Because the fix is going to suck. It's going to be a little pricey. It's going to suck. Okay. Jeff Parker says, sharpen my Strat, bought a used newer model HM Strat. Okay. So I'm assuming bought a used newer model. So I think you're saying he's bought a used HM heavy metal Strat, but the new reissue. Says already got pickup plans, has cheapest pot metal Floyd, want to play. Yeah. I want to play and have fun upgrades. No limit. Floyd upgrades, for titanium Schaller. Look, the titanium thing is definitely a thing I don't understand. All my buddies, everyone, I mean, all of them, the ones I like, all my friends that I like, love titanium stuff. They're like, it's the thing, man. They all do it. I have so many texts on my phone. Hey, I got the titanium this and I got the titanium that. I'm so happy for them. I look at it and it's not my thing. I don't care enough to pay the money. So you said price is not a limit, so go for it. But the sad thing is, the reason I'm telling you this way is because I don't purchase that stuff. I can't tell you. I have customers that bring me titanium stuff, parts of their bridges and titanium bridges, and I put them in there. And I only have one, and maybe I'm scarred. Here's what happened. I don't know why I didn't do aluminum. I just didn't aluminium. My copper Strat is not heavy. It's a light Strat, but it's not. I was hoping to get it lighter. So what happened was I saw one day, this is about 6 years ago, I saw somebody made a titanium block and it was like, I don't know, it was $150, which is a lot for a block because I think you can buy a brass one for $30. And I bought it and I put it on the Strat and I picked it up and I go, oh, that was great. I killed 8 ounces, half a pound. And it sounded horrible. I mean, the guitar just immediately sounded horrible. And it had nothing to do with titanium. It was just, there was a reason why you want some mass there. You know what I mean? It helps anchor the vibration of those strings and stuff, especially me with the bridge, at that time against the body. That was my one experience. And then I think I put it on eBay and sold it for, $75 and I went my own way, licked my wounds and went my way. So, I think on that Strat, if you want to upgrade the Floyd, I think it's a good move. Do you need titanium? In my opinion, not. If you go with a Schaller Floyd Rose, I don't think you're going to be unhappy, man. A German-made Schaller Floyd Rose is freaking awesome. It's my favorite bridge of the Floyds. I have no problem with the Korean-made bridges. I have no problem with any of the cheap Floyd Rose bridges. I like them all okay. They're fine. I love the Schaller ones. The German Schaller ones. They're just really, really good. And I think everybody I know that plays the bridges, the Floyds, really kind of like the Schaller Floyds. Daryl says, I got a titanium hip and knee replacements. Well, titanium in your body, I think, smart. I'm on board for that. So I had a titanium ring. I'm not wearing my ring right now for the video, but my ring I have tungsten now, which is heavy as hell. I wear a tungsten ring. I used to wear a titanium ring and I got in a car accident and it was really bad. And, later I was talking to the nurse. I thought she was messing with me. And she said, yeah, luckily, cause I had to take my ring off. And she goes, if we have to take your jewelry off, for surgery. And I said, yeah. And she says, if you can't take that titanium ring off, she just wanted to let me know. She's like, I'm just letting you know, like friendly, like, hey, I just want to let you know. She's like, if we can't take that ring off, we can't cut the ring. We don't have anything to cut that ring here. So we have to cut your finger off. And I laughed, like that awkward laugh. You're like, yeah. And she's like, no, I'm serious. So I'm just letting you know, you probably shouldn't, she was just telling me, like, as a nurse, I guess, don't wear a titanium ring. So now I wear a tungsten because you can smack it hard enough and it'll shatter. Because I don't want them to cut my finger off is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. So, anyways, titanium in your body's great. Titanium ring, apparently bad. And titanium parts on the guitar, probably good. But again, I'm sure we'll get there on the channel one day. I'm sure as we run out of videos eventually, if we get to thousands of videos, I'll get to a point where I'll have to buy some titanium stuff and show you guys that and, share the experience of buying and trying it. But right now I haven't got that far. Yeah, now you guys are talking about tungsten bridges. I don't think that will work, man. I think the tungsten thing is, I think the whole point is they'll, like I said, they'll shatter. That's, when I bought the tungsten ring, it was really heavy and I was looking for something. And I remember that's what the guy at the jewelry store said. And he's like, oh, if you watch it, if you hit it hard enough, it'll shatter. And I was like, oh, well, that's probably good because I don't want them to take off my finger. Alex says, Kirk Hammet says, okay, that Les Paul sounds better after having repaired broken headstock. Okay, do you think that's true? Oh, hold on, let me get there. Speaking of Metallica, have you ever played a Ken Lawrence Explorer? Thanks. Okay, so the answer is easy. I've never played the Ken Lawrence Explorer. Okay, there's easy. Kirk Hammet said that a Les Paul sounds better when the headstock's broken. First, could be a joke. Why not? I mean, Billy Corgan says guitars sound better if they're painted white. Look, baseball players won't play if their socks are on upside down. I mean, there's all kinds of things. Artistic-minded people are crazy by definition. I mean, it's what's beautiful about us. All of us are, that have artistic mind are a little bit out of their mind. Kirk Hammet's a little bit out of his mind. We know he is because he's like, hey, what can I do in my life? I think I'll pick a job where I might make money or I might be destitute and eat out of a dumpster my whole life. There's no real sane person that wants to be a guitar player in a metal band. You know what I mean? That was giving away their records, bootleg. You know what I mean? So, and I say that with admiration. That's the thing we should love about people like him. So that's what he says. I'm just acknowledging two things. First, he could be kidding, and two, he could, first, he could be kidding, and second, he could be crazy. That being said, let's talk about this for 1 second. That's just for the sake of putting tinfoil on our heads, let's just acknowledge why it could be true. I would imagine that if the headstock broke off, as someone who's repaired many of them, when you glue it back together, sometimes there's 2 or 3 different methods, and I've used all of them, all of the above. Everything from you cut in dowels and you put dowels in there and you dowel it to you sometimes do reinforcements with 2 other like basically little blocks of wood and you inset them in there and you sand that. There's all kinds of ways to kind of reattach the headstock besides just gluing it back on. Sometimes in a perfect situation when the break is perfect, you can just glue it back on. That being said, I would never be crazy enough to say that nothing can change. Sure, of course. Could it change the way the neck resonates, where the strings resonate, and then the pickups could hear a little bit of that? Sure. It's possible. It's one of those things, like I said. It's like, okay, so if Kirk Hammet, which who am I to argue with somebody who's actually made money as a professional musician? I'm not going to sit there and say they're the crazy one. That actually, if I'm betting on somebody, I'm going to bet on him being right than me. But what I'm going to say is if he's hearing a difference, it's such a small difference that it's possible, I don't know. The kick to this is for him to say that, what would have to happen is he would have to have the guitar, own it for many years, know its sound, because that's what it is. Some guitars, like I know, these 2 Ibanez's, believe it or not, sound massively different, not just because of pickups. They just sound different. They just got a different vibe to them, these 2 Ibanez's. I was playing them earlier, and I just know this guitar I've had since 2007. I just know the way it sounds. No matter what I do with the pickups, I just know how it sounds and feels. So I would have to say he'd have to know how it sounds and feels, and then when it broke, the headstock and glued, and know it was different. But it's an interesting subject. Of course it's an interesting subject, because it's the ultimate of our craziness. Hey, guitars sound better when you break the headstock and glue them back on. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not breaking the headstock on my Les Paul and putting it back together. I'm not that tone chasing crazy. Like, oh, I really want a better sound of Les Paul. Let me crack that headstock and glue it. That's never going to happen. Even if you convinced me that it sounded better, I wouldn't do it. Not for the resale value, not for any reason. I'm just not going to do it. So now that we went down that road, can I give you this one last thought on that? How can he tell over the wah pedal? I just feel like if we're going to talk about him and not make a wah pedal joke, it kind of felt like we left it hanging out there wrong. I'm just kidding. By the way, I actually like his wah solos. I always feel, so when everybody makes fun of Kirk Hammett wah solos and wah and all the wah memes, which are I hilariously funny and I enjoy them, I always kind of feel a little like I'm laughing like on the outside with everybody like, ha ha ha, yeah, wah solos are lame. But in my head I'm thinking, but I love them so much. I do. I love wah. I don't know what it is. I think the first time I heard a wah pedal, I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever heard. And maybe it was at the right age where to this day, even when somebody, I'm at a bar, it happened about 2 years ago. I was at a bar and some guy next to me, another guitar player who I didn't know very well, we were all talking and this guitar player was playing on stage and this guy goes, man, will that guy shut the hell up with the wah already? And I was thinking, I like his wah. I like where he's going with this wah. But that's what I was thinking. You know what I did? Because I was a chicken. I went, yeah, what's with that dude? His stupid wah. But secretly I was cheering the wah on. All right. So now so the anti-wah people out there, we can't be friends apparently. All right. We have, what do we have? We have Tampa Blues says $5 is worth it to support the channel and your work. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Obviously it's very kind of you. Dan Brown says, do you have any stories about someone trying to sell you a fake or something that had issues and tried to hide the truth about it. Yeah, I have the worst fake story of all time. Now, when I say that, I don't. Somebody's got a worse story, but I have a horrible fake story. I've told you this 1,000 times. I'll tell it 1,000 more. I wish I was smart. I'm not. I'm experienced because I've done so many stupid things and had so many stupid things done. And I've learned from them. I had a guy come in my store, and he had a fake Chipson. This is when Chipsons were taken off. It's about 2005. Remember that? Like Pixie Licks did a video about it. He was kind of like the first guys. That's Steve from Boston for you new schoolers. You old schoolers know Pixie is Pixie Licks. Anyways, Pixie was like kind of the place, where you saw that. And then of course, China Guitar Skeptic, and I think Nick in the States. And I apologize if there's, other channels out there that kind of broke this kind of thing. And I'm not mentioning you, but you understand that's where it kind of came about. But the Chipson thing, when it first happened, when all of a sudden there was like this thing that you could just buy fake looking Gibsons, it was kind of new. So a guy brought in a fake Gibson, a Chipson, into the store, and he wanted to trade it in. He wanted to sell it to us, trade it into the store. And I looked at it, and, like everybody, I kind of figured out it was fake. But he told me, he's like, oh, it's fake. And I was like, I looked at it, it was fake. And, I hemmed and hawed over this stupid thing, and I took it on trade. I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, he was upfront about it, right? So he traded into me. I think we gave him $150. So we tagged it for $250, right? So we tagged it for $250, and we put a big sign on it. It was on the guitar stand on the floor, because the nice guitars on the walls, the cheaper guitars on the floor stands. And I put a big sign that says "Fake Gibson" on it, $250. And I'll never forget this. A guy came in my store, and he's like, what's wrong with this Gibson? And I'm like, it's fake. That's why it's got a big fake Gibson sticker thing on it, and a sign. And by the way, this is why I brand the guitars. That controversial video where I branded a fake guitar for a customer, and people get upset. I don't care if you get upset. Suck it. I brand the guitars for this reason. This happened. This is a horrible story to tell. So I was like, anyways, the guy was like, I'll buy it. What's your best deal on it? I said, $200. So I make $50. And I put on the receipt, because I'm thinking I'm trying to be smart. On the receipt, it says fake Gibson guitar, not real, right? Blah, blah, blah. I do all this stuff. We even marked in the cavity. This is why I mark on the outside now. We marked in the cavity, fake Gibson. Guy leaves the store. A week later, another music store in town, the owner is talking to me. I forgot if he came in the store or if he called. But anyways, we're talking, and he's like, oh, did you hear what happened in the store? And I said, what? And he goes, some guy came in and sold a Les Paul to my guys, told him how it was like this exclusive one. It was signed by like Jimmy Page. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. And they gave him $2,000 for it. I'm like, really? It's fake. So he tells me about the guitar, and I'm like, that was my guitar. That was the guitar I sold. It was fake. I said, we marked in the cavity. It's faked. We marked on the cover, the back of the cover. We marked fake. The guy took the guitar home. I think we marked something inside the guitar too. Whatever the guy did at home, he was smart. He covered it. And then he took the cover and replaced the cover. And then he took it to the store and he conned them. I feel horrible. I told the owner, I feel horrible. To this day, you can see I feel like crap. So anyways, that's why I brand them now. Because what I've learned is there's just no way getting around that. I've learned, I know it's excessive. I had so many people tell me in that video. So many people said great. Some people said excessive. Look, man, that's some real money. I had obviously a small business owner like me. He was a small business owner. Giving somebody $2,000 that you just can set, it's like you just set fire to it. Dude, that's a week's profits in a store like that. Yeah. So that's my story about fake stuff. And so after that, now I won't, not only will we not take it on trade, but wouldn't work on it. And I try to stay away from it. And the guitar I did, the mayonnaise guitar that I did, where I branded it, that was for a customer of mine who got screwed over, and I did that video. And so, like I said, that's why I brand them now. We brand them on the outside, inside, and we market them any way we can to go. And people have gotten better. So, I keep seeing people. And so let's be all clear. I think it's cool what I see some guys doing right now. I think it's the coolest thing. They're having these fake Gibsons and Ibanez's and Fenders made, but then they're putting funny names, or they're putting their last name, or they're putting I think that's great. Like I said, I don't have any problem with guitars being cloned. I don't care. I don't care if somebody rips off Gibson or Fender. I just don't. You know what I mean? They're big companies. They're big boys. They can take care of themselves. I just hate it when somebody else gets screwed. You know what I mean? The person who's like, saving up your money for a month, or, selling your favorite thing to buy something, it sucks. That's just my opinion on it. Again, you can all have an opinion as well. We can all still get along. All right. Now we're going to go to, who are we going to go to? We're going to go to Andy. Okay, Andy. Andy John says, looking at Princeton's or Tweed 15-watt amps, in your opinion, do you get more paying for the boutique as opposed to the Fender production amps? I can't say those particular amps. I can't say if boutique's better. What I can tell you is I do have a 65 deluxe reverb circuit board, and I have a 64 hand wired reverb. That's boutique, right? At the time they were double the price. Now they're, not quite double. It's a little better. I think that's the kick. That's the problem. It's better. Everything's better as you go up. Hand wired's a little better, I guess, right? It's just got to matter to you. I did the same thing. I bought it. I don't regret it. I don't think you ever regret buying quality if you can afford it. That's the best way I can put that. So if you're thinking about getting the more boutique version, remember, we're not talking about, do you need that? Absolutely not, man. There's no need in this. Do you want that? Well, if you want that, should you get it? If you can afford it, if it doesn't hurt the pocketbook, if it's not going to change your life, you know what I mean? Yeah, buying quality you'll never regret it. So Tinkerbell says, word up, brother. What's up, Tinkerbell? Says, just got a Schecter Evil Twin. I love it. Cannot believe the difference stainless steel frets make. I don't know about tone, but glassy, smooth feel. Look, stainless, I agree. Arguments of stainless steel being brighter and not as warm as the nickel. Sure, there's some factors of that. Me personally, I think if somebody came in the middle of the night and refretted all my guitars with stainless steel frets, I don't know if I'd wake up the next morning and plug them in the amps and go, what's going on? Why is this so bright? But I would sure feel that they feel great. I know some people say, why don't we just go to stainless steel altogether? It's because I think the main reason, because it's an expense that manufacturers don't have to do if not all of us are on board with them. But like I said, I like them. I like stainless steel. I think the biggest complaint I've heard about stainless steel that makes sense is when somebody's like, when you put them on vintage guitars, they just don't feel right. I don't know. I love the way they feel, man. I try not to play too many stainless steel guitars. I have a few because of the fact that, like I said, when you start playing something nice, it feels nice when you bend, then you play the nickels. What I do is I find since I've started owning stainless steel guitars, I find I polish my nickel frets more. Hey, my dog's freaking out. All right. That means it's the end of the show when the dog freaks out. Frederick says, hey, Phil, what's your opinion on the American Originals from Fender worth the $2K? Yeah, I like them. It's really a factor of $2,000, a lot of bucks. It's actually 2,000 of them, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are they worth it over what though? I think that's the problem. Here's what I can tell you. Are they great? I like them. Are they on my radar? Probably. But also the Made in Mexico vintage guitars are also fantastic, and they're nothing to sneeze at. Okay, and then I have a few more to get through. I know I said I'd end that way, but I'm trying to get through these. like I said, please don't super chat because otherwise this show will never end and I'll have to stop and then your super chat won't get answered. And since I'm trying to fill the last part of the show with just the super chats to clear them out. Adam says, you'd think companies would want you to be honest so that there is gear. So if their gear has issues they didn't know about, they could fix it. I don't think companies want you to be dishonest. That's not what I'm trying to say. I don't think companies are only going to YouTubers that will be dishonest. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that here's an argument, one side and another side of an argument. You could have a YouTuber saying, I only tell people the truth. I'm very honest about what I say. And if a company wants to send me a product, they have to let me say what I want. They're telling the truth. They're not lying in that statement. My argument is that companies aren't dumb either, and they slowly figure out what you're going to critique and what you're not going to critique. Honesty isn't the problem. I don't think any company is looking at my channel and going, we'd send Phil a guitar, but he's going to be honest about it. I don't think that's what they're saying. The problem is when I'm taking like nylon socks and rubbing them on their frets and taking things apart. Trogly takes things apart too. There's a bunch of channels that start doing this stuff and they all can tell you. No company's going to them going, no one's telling you to your face, like calling you up going, we'd send you a guitar, but you're diagnosing too much stuff. What I'm seeing is if you look at, there's a trend, the companies look at that video and go, yeah, we don't need that crap. You know what I mean? We don't want you taking apart our stuff. You know what I mean? Why? What's the benefit? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking what I'm thinking. The benefit is then when you make good quality stuff, people see it. But that's the thing. So it's not about an honesty thing. I think the issue I get pushed back lately on is they don't want you really getting into the guitar. You know what I mean? And if you look at the evolution of reviews, I think that's what it is. It's an evolution. For those smaller channels watching this podcast or listening to it, and you're the future of YouTube, so to speak, the newer channels with the new ideas as channels, as this all evolves. You have to understand, this is the evolution. When I started making videos on YouTube, I was following the path of the YouTubers before me. Hey guys, here's a guitar. It's orange and I love it. And you should get one too. And then slowly that turns into, okay, well, let's look at how it sets, how the setup is. I think the future of reviews on platforms are going to have to be, okay, guys, let's check out the pickups. Let's check out the action. Let's check out the frets. Let's go through the guitar. Let's diagnose it. You have to diagnose the guitar. I don't think everybody's looking, and not every channel has to do that, but somebody's got to do it because when you decide to look, let's take a guitar that's $1,000. That's a lot of money. All right, $500 is a lot of money. Let's take a $500 guitar. You got $500 right now and you think about buying a guitar this weekend, you're going to go on YouTube. You want to see one channel, there's 50, doesn't matter. Every category is 50 channels, but you want to see at least one channel show you how it sounds. Like you want to see that. Like, I want to see Sean Tubbs take that guitar and make it sound like it's freaking amazing. And then go, yeah, if I could play like Sean Tubbs, I'd have... But your brain doesn't say that. Thank God. It doesn't go, man, if I practice like Sean Tubbs, I'll sound like Sean Tubbs. No, it goes, if I get that guitar, I'll sound like Sean Tubbs. Then the next video is going to be somebody like me taking it apart. And you're going to go, oh, well, there's some issues there I don't like, and there's some things I'm okay with. And like I said, it's going to go, you watch 4 or 5 videos and you get a sense. And then you're going to try and watch at least one, I hope, one channel where the guy's like, hey, it's going to like this. Ready? Hey, hold on, guys. Hey, anyways, yeah, so I thought I'd make a video. I just got this today at Guitar Center. Hold on a second. Okay. And, yeah, so let me tell you why I bought this. And because you know why? Because that guy's got no skin in the game. That guy just wants to share, or I say guy, you understand what I mean? Person. So that person, they're not selling you the guitar. They're not trying to hype it. They're not trying to diagnose it. They're not trying to do anything. They're just sharing a moment with you. I do the same thing like all of us. I watch the guy demo it to see how good it is. I watch somebody take it apart, so I see how good the quality is. I see somebody tell me their opinion of how they experienced it. And then from that I go, I think this is the right guitar for me. And I move forward. And that's how it is. Because like I said, we have changed the game. We, as a society, we used to try it and then buy it. Now we buy it to try it. And if you have a budget like a normal person, you need to calculate how you spend your money. It's like, God bless every single one of you watching that just has an infinity budget. Good for you. You made it. You did it. Whatever it is you're doing great. The rest of us, $500 this weekend. It takes hours of deliberation to let that money leave the account. And that's what we need. So Wendell says, I'll never sound 10% as good as Tubbs. Absolutely. But still, doesn't matter. At least we know what the guitar can do, right? So that's the point. A lot of you guys, and now you're talking about Trogley, some good, some bad. Here's the deal. It's not about anything like that. You have to understand what he's doing that's smart, Trogley, is he's looking through the guitars. That becomes what has to start happening. Here's why. Here's why I believe this. This is just my opinion. I believe that if you're going to be a professional reviewer, you're going to have to start looking at guitars in detail. Here's why. Because that starts taking away the corruption value, right? Look, I'm going to tell you this right now, just so you know, to give you a great analogy. AMS sent me a guitar. I'm going to do a video of it. They set it up, the guitar. It's written on the box. I'm going to tell you, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They're not a dumb company. They're like, sure, Phil, we'll send you the guitar. And they set the guitar up. In the video, I disclosed that. Not only did they send the guitar, but they set it up. They set it up because they know I'm going to go through it. Here's the thing. You're going to have to now discount the fact that your guitar is not going to come set up. But, so it's disclosed to you, but it's also, you don't have to go, oh man, that's horrible. How did they send that out? Because I don't know about you guys, as much as I think it sucks that they're going to set up guitars for YouTubers to be better, I'm always confused why they don't do it. Because then don't you think, I don't know about you, if I watch, I'm trying to pick on a good YouTuber, good, like big channel. You know what? I'll pick a friend because it's good. Marty Schwartz. He's got 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers. If Marty Schwartz gets a guitar and he pulls it out of the box, he's like, this is horrible. Isn't your first thought is, and they knew it was going to him and he was going to make this video. So obviously whatever they send you is going to suck. I love it when somebody goes, Phil, you said it was good, but you said it, they knew it, they were sending it to you. I'm like, right. So you should discount that. Like if they sent it to me and it was perfect, then you're not going to get perfect because you're not making a video that gets 100,000 views. You're going to get slightly less than perfect. That would be what I would do if I was you. I would discount that. When I get a guitar and it's like, man, this thing sucks, you should go, holy crap, they don't care that it's going to be presented to people like that. What does that tell you? So anyways, all right. So now we got to finish up because we're never going to finish this. These live shows just keep going and going. It's the ever ready bunny. Okay. We have Adrian. Adrian says, hey, Phil, hope you're doing good. Just picked up an American Select Mahogany Stratocaster. It's killer. Ever try a Mahogany Strat? Man, yes. And yes, they are fantastic. You have a great guitar. I don't know what it is. I don't know what about Strats and Mahogany. They made a Mahogany Strat Deluxe, I believe, that was slightly thinner. It was like 1/8 of an inch, not even 1/4 inch. I think it was 1/8 of an inch thinner body. It was Mahogany. Fender made it, and I want to say 2014-ish, somewhere around that time. My buddy David bought it, and I wanted it so bad. He still has it. So yeah, and I don't know what it was. I don't know. Like I said, in the argument, tone wood debate, could it be the pickups were warmer? Could it be the miracles of just everything else and not the wood, the tone wood? Sure. But I played, so what I'm trying to tell you is I played that one Mahogany body Strat, and I remember thinking it was one of the best Strats I ever played. So sound-wise, it had warmer tone. So there you go. So yeah, good on you. I like the American Select Mahogany Stratocaster. I like the idea of that. I think they should make Strats out of all kinds of woods to see how it goes. Wutek says, hey, Phil, hope you're doing well. Everybody says, I hope I'm doing well. I'm doing fine. See me right here? I understand that's like, now that's how we have to do emails. Every time I'm responding to companies, I'm like, I hope you're safe and well. It's like the new etiquette. You can't be like, I don't know about you guys. Do you do this? You go, hey, Lisa. And then you go, oh, crap. And you go, delete. And you go, hi, Lisa. I hope you're safe and doing well. Or, hey, Lisa, I hope you're safe. Right? Anyways. And so it's a weird time. Anyway, so hope you're doing well is what he said. Could you talk about the difference between classic PRS push-pull coil split and the new mini toggle coil split? That is the difference in tone and technology. I don't think the switch has anything to do with anything. I don't know. I'd have to watch some of their videos. As far as I know, that's not a factor. The mini toggle switches are about individuality. So everything that's in play with the old push-pull pots is the same. So they're using the same capacitors, resistors, whatever stuff that's in there. The guts are still the same. Everything's the same. The main difference, though, is that on the push-pull pot, they had two rows of terminals, and they would attach both pickups to those terminals. And so pushing or pulling the pot would basically make both pickups coil split or not coil split, right? Okay. That makes sense. So adding them switches was about individuality, two pots. Two switches. They could have just put volume and tone push-pull pots and had two. I mean, companies do that, like Schecter does that. They'll have two push-pull pots so they can do that same thing. But so that's the main thing. I don't think the tune capacitance inductance thing has to do with how they're winding the pickups. In their theory of this, not so much anything different in the guts of the electronic side of the guitar. Not in the guitars that I've opened up. And as you've seen, I've opened them up, all of them. There's nothing dramatically different in a PRS 2020 mini toggle switch 2408 that I've looked inside the guts that is different than, let's say, a custom 24 2015 unit. In what treble blade they're using, what resistors you're using, everything seemed the same. Just the switches are about having these being separate. You can do just the neck pickup or just the bridge. I think I've said this a million times. I literally every PRS I own, I go in and I disconnect the bridge coil split wires from the switch. So none of my PRSs have the ability to coil split the bridge. So when I push pull on my guitars, I'm only doing the neck pickup because I never play single coil bridge, as I've said earlier today. So I only play single coil on the neck. Charles did a just because super chat, and then thank you, and then Dewange. I'm going to say Dewange. Dewange says just ordered a pair of knife. See you, small U, big N. It's the Confi. It's not knife. It's Confi. I think that's the actual pronunciation. The Confi WRHB to put in the Squier Stratocaster. Do you think Fender will keep making them? So the Confi pickups are those extra wide pickups. They are made different. On that, there's some videos out there where some channels have gone through the pickups of them. I'm a little slow to the game on the whole. I didn't discover the magic of those pickups. One day I just, it's things that pass by. I think they sound great. Do I think Fender will keep making them? I think Fender will make them as long as there's profit in it. That's exactly how that goes. So as long as they're making enough money doing them, they'll do them. And then when it slows down, Fender kind of business model seems to mirror the Apple business model of once the sales slow down, they stop making it and take it away and come out with a new thing. Because again, they're trying to maintain the sales. So good pickups though. But so, I've heard other companies make pickups that sound just like them that aren't the size and all that stuff. So I don't know. Good stuff though. Congratulations on the new pickups. Chuck in Music. Hey, Chuck. He says, hey, Phil. Thanks for the advice about buying on Craigslist. I got the Mesa. So he's talking about last week we talked about he was concerned about buying the Mesa Fillmore on Craigslist. And I said, hey, what I would do is read the person, not the product, because he wanted to make sure. He says, by the way, I drove dump trucks for 5 years. All right, Chuck, you got to tell me one time. No one cares, right? Like when I'm telling you, since you drove dump trucks for 5 years, I'm being 100% honest about this statement when I said that at the coffee shop. When I said I drive a dump truck, and it just because I pulled it out of my ass, I remember thinking like, oh, that's the worst thing to say. Driving a dump truck's so cool. They're going to want to talk to me about it, and I'm going to have to make up all this stuff about dump trucks now. And then they're like, oh. And then it's like, oh, so I'm curious, was that a fluke? Did I luck out? Or like when you tell people you drive dump trucks, they're like, oh, where are they? Like, how dangerous is that? Is there a lot of dirt? What do you do? Because when I think of dump trucks, sometimes I think of those big ass trucks that are just crazy. So let me know sometime. Jim says, I need a trim bridge guitar that is not Floyd or Kahler, down to Ibanez SE, SA, or USA Performer Strat. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, you just need a Tremolo bridge. You don't need like a whammy bar. See, to me, that like when you're thinking Floyd, Kahler, Ibanez, that's a whammy bar. That's a, waka, 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 like Fozzie Bear. You can just, go crazy with it. A tremolo is like what a Strat does. And it's, even though, it's vibrato, it's the same thing. It's just a little bit of, wah, 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 like my sound effects. So my thoughts, if you want a whammy bar, get the Ibanez SA. That's you have to decide. And I know that seems subtle, but it is different. Like when I grab one of these guitars, this is full on 80s in your face whammy bar action. This is a whammy bar. Like we call them all tremolos, but literally that's a whammy bar. Right? And a Strat has a tremolo. Right? Okay. So there you go. Fox and the Hound says a little something for the Sal to impress the baristas with. Back up the dumper. That's funny, buddy. That's good. Craig says, hey, Phil, can you recommend some super lightweight locking tuners for a neck heavy SG? Does it being lefty matter? No, the direction lefty doesn't matter. I messed with this. It depends. Here's what I need to know. So I'm going to guess. I'm going to do some guesses. Okay. I have to. If you have Kluson style tuning keys on your SG, you are screwed. Okay. It's just over for you. So I'm just letting you know right now, as someone who's been down this neck heavy SG road, Kluson style keys, there's not a whole lot of keys that are going to be lighter than those. So you have to hope, or I'm hoping for you, that you have Grovers. The Grovers are die cast. They're heavy as hell. It's like putting 6 Hot Wheels stuck to your headstock. It's a lot. Maybe Matchbox cars, old school Matchbox. Anyways, if they are the Grovers, then here's what I would do. Even though it's a direct replacement to put locking Grovers on them, please don't put locking Grovers on them. They're just too heavy. What I would do is get the plates and get the open gear ultralight hip shots. You can go with other brands, you're asking me. So, I mean, you can obviously Google and find brands too, but that's what I would suggest. If you go with that, the great tuners, they'll go on non-marring. You don't have to worry about jacking up your headstock to put them on. That's what I would suggest for that. And then you can go on their website and they show you which ones you need. BK says, encountered this week, Fluence Fishman actives can be out of phase to each other when they are in different revisions. Oh, Fishman confirmed this in an email. Info is not on their website. Buyers watch out if buying used or mix and match pickups. That actually doesn't shock me. Because anytime, that's the problem with anytime they encapsulate the pickup in all kinds of epoxy and seal it and stuff, we don't know. I mean, I have a tester. I have a way to test it. You can get one of those, I forget what they call it. It's a magnet. I mean, you usually use a magnet, but I mean, I have a little magnet tester that I've used. It has a name. I think it's Chet something. I don't know why I can't remember what it is. It's just this tube thing that's cool. But yeah, it's good to know. Good to know out there, but not shocked to hear that at all. Okay. Cirrus Lee says, because Phil is just all right. All right. Thank you. And then the last super chat of the day, last question we're going to end with today is John says, hey, Phil, been watching for a year. First time caller. Are there drop-in locking tuners for the SE Pulse guitar? Yes, absolutely. On my, I obviously, as I'm trying to, like I said, the evolution review, improve the reviews in the SE's Pulse guitar, I did not do this for you, so I did this on the Zach Myers. If you go to the Zach Myers review video, the tuning keys on the Zach Myers are the same style tuning keys that are on the Pulse guitar. So in there, I suggest the, I think it's the Goto locking Kluson style keys, but here's what I know. I say it in that video and I put a link in that video, and those are the same keys and you'd be fine. So that, John, that's my suggestion for you on that. And I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'm pretty sure it's the Goto Kluson style locking keys. If you Google that, they'll come right up and they'll direct fit in. They're also basically the same style ones I put on the Tyler Larson Sharpen My Axe on his guitar, because what's on Paul's guitar SE is essentially a Kluson style key. So that's what you want. Direct replacement, pretty easy. But pay attention to that link in that video, Zach Myers PRS SE, because the link takes you to, I can't remember the top of my head. If it was the compression fit top, I think it was, versus the screw-on top for the top of the tuning keys. And so whatever I put the link in is the right one. And I'm pretty sure it's compression fit. And what's great about that is you shouldn't have to pull. This is my tip to you. You shouldn't have to pull the old compression fit off. You just use the original ones that you have already. So you're just going to take out a screw, take out the back key, put in the new key, do it all up. You'll be good to go. There you go, John. Great guitar, by the way. PRS SE, the Paul's guitar is one of my favorite PRSs, for sure. All right. 2 hours and 700 hours later, we even lost like 100 of you towards the last 20 minutes. You guys are the diehards. You guys are awesome. Sticking to the end. Who are you guys, and why are you so cool? All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out this week. We didn't even get to talk about the NAMM show numbers. The NAMM show thing wasn't even a part of the show, so that'll have to be removed out of the title. We'll talk about that next week. As always, I will see you next Friday. It is 3 p.m. I don't know what it is. It's 3 p.m. I'm on California time. What is that? I think this is Pacific Daylight Time, which is Mountain Standard Time. There you go. I hope that helps. Sorry, I live in a weird state that doesn't like daylight savings time. As always, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much. Until next week, thank you for your time, and know your gear.